Ooh, what's happening, guys? Welcome to another edition of PWT Live Show. Yeah.
Nope.
Oh, sorry, wrong one.
Yeah.
Let's go. I am all over the place today as normal. I think I actually always am when I start these shows, but I am your host, Phil Marks. And yeah, we're hanging out. It's Saturday night. How y'all doing, chat? Sorry, I started. Some people are like, oh, I finally made it without being late for once. Well, I felt like I was running late. I was trying to start a little earlier. I am watching it is an absolute vibe check. I see that. Let's go. Yes, chat's lighting up. Make sure you hit that like on the way in, folks. I'm watching UFC 302, and it's a crazy good card. I know Collision's on, guys. If anything crazy happens, tag me in the bookmarks. Tag me on X at Pro Wrestle Times on X. Of course, at Pro Wrestle Times is the long form podcast channel / the live show replays. If you missed this show and you're like, hey, where did the live show go, Phil? It's over on at Pro Wrestle Times on YouTube. So if you're subscribed to this channel, which is at Pro Wrestle Clips, and you want the long form version, you go over, subscribe to that. We're trying to get to 1,000 subs on there. We're trying to get to 3.5 thousand on this channel. Yeah. Top pod listeners, PWT Universe. Yeah. You guys are the absolute best. Yeah, so I think that's the plugs. Patreon's getting revamped. Member shows are coming soon. I'm getting all the ducks in a row. It is the summertime. And yeah, we're gonna get all of that stuff rolled out. I'm gonna set out like a members poll in the next like week or two. So consider becoming a member. And you guys will all vote on that, and it'll have to do with content and then some Patreon stuff in the works. It's going to be stuff that I would usually get copyright stricken for on YouTube. I'll go do over on Patreon. So I'm rolling all that out as well. And yeah, PWT Podcast 64 I was going to do with Marv the Movie Monster. We're both busy as shit. He might pop in tonight. I don't know. But we're just both busybodies, and so we were like, you know what, we'll do it. We're gonna record it tomorrow or Monday, and we haven't done a recorded one in a while, like I'm always on his stream or he's on mine, and I was like, let's get something for the RSS feed. So and I'm gonna do one with Awful as well. That's like a pre-recorded where we're not just bickering on the live or watching wrestling together. We're gonna do something where we dive deep into like his book and motivations and all of those sorts of things. So those are coming in the upcoming week. And thank you all for tuning in as everybody files in. I hope you like the new tunes. I have a new intro video I'm working on as well, intro, outro stuff for the live shows that I'm going to roll out. I was working on it today. I didn't have enough time to finish it. But yeah, chat, how are you all doing? I want to see how you're all doing tonight here. And also, yeah, I didn't end up sending the link out to everybody either, who I'm trying to guess this and that on the show. So yeah, hang with me here. So today, as the title indicates, I'm watching UFC 302. It's the early prelims here. I doubt this show will go until all the way till the end of the UFC. Even if there's anything crazy going on Collision, make sure you let me know. Tag me in it. If there's a clip on X, let me know and we'll dive into it. I have some 83. Oh, come on, Eric. No, that's not fair, Eric. Connor Hassler, a new member and friend of the show. Thank you so much for becoming a member, my good friend. It's good to see you here, buddy. Yeah, message me on X or something here. Let me go to Conan. Yeah, here, I'll give you guys a Conan. You guys are waiting for it. Conan! Thank you so much. And yeah, as you see, Connor Hassler, he became a member. I think it's like 99 cents Canadian or something. So I don't know. Consider joining that. And yeah, you'll get a say in what content we do for members only streams, which will be coming. I assure you, what I want to do is get to where it's like 5 to 7, like 5 or 6 days, give myself a day off where I have like each day is a certain thing for you guys. You know what I mean? Like this day is member show, this day is live show, this day is podcast, this day. So we're building towards that. Don't worry, guys. I'm trying to get it all handled. It's a one-man band, man. Ring the alarm, man. Call me the Send man. When I drop beats, I'm the one-man band, man. It's a lot of work to do, but I'm just so grateful for all of you, truly, as we file in. If you can't tell, I'm milking the intro, just allowing us all to file in here. How's chat doing? Let's check on chat for a second. Welcome. Chat me up, Phil. Got a lot of money on a Dustin KO today. Yeah, you know, those lines are still open, and I might jump onto those as well. Shaggy Filth 73. We got the Conan. Hello, Plinian. It's good to see you. It's vibe o'clock. It's always a vibe here at PWT with the PW Universe, PWT Universe, that is. And yeah, man, I'm just great. Oh, that's myself. So holla, holla, holla. What's up? Okay, so we're filing in. So as the title indicates, guys, Eric Bischoff, you know, he just sort of went off on Meltzer. Who doesn't? I do it all the goddamn time, but yeah, you know, he went off on Meltzer on this Wise Choices live stream, and I got a timestamp, and I was like, yeah, I got to talk about this and like play his reaction to this clip, because like I could just redo the same bit, you know, but it's going to add into the Dave Meltzer moment of the week, which I think I'm going to give to you guys early. I'm going to switch it up this time and give it to you earlier on before we delve into other things, because there's a lot of Dave stuff, of course, to always talk about. I watched SmackDown last night, though, as well. Sorry, cleaning a glass here as I chat y'all. Let me chat y'all up here about you know. Here we have some tribal chiefs. I want to shout out Scully Vibes, because I didn't do a recorded pod where I usually shout you guys out. So Scully Vibes, Andre Adams, the God King, Bob Gilgamesh, LK, Sask Prophet, Peter, JT, Crispin Hua, and shout him out. I think he's out golfing or something right now. Jamie Earhart, Cruz Madrid, Derek Hans, Liam McBlain, Eric Galprin, and Ninja Boy. Thank you guys all for being tribal chiefs, of course, whether that be on Patreon or as a member. Let me give you a dummy. Yeah. Sorry, moved my. I just was getting used to my soundboard, moved it around a little bit, working on some new things for you guys. It's never-ending adjustments here as we go and as we traverse. So I got Awful might pop in, because he got lambasted by Thurston, and I think he does want to pop in tonight. So we'll that will happen. I'm pretty positive he's gonna want to let something off, and this is the platform to do it on, where he can go off on people. And the last couple clips that dropped, speaking of dropped, watching Perez and Edwards just got dropped in the UFC here. But yeah, I dropped a couple clips with Awful, and man, people love them. Like every time I drop clips with Awful, they start blowing up, dude. People enjoy me and him bickering back and forth, and I think it's because we're very differently opinionated. But he'll call me fucking, oh, I'm cussing already, not even 10 minutes deep. He'll call me like redact, and I don't take, you know what I mean? I just laugh it off, and we just keep going, and it's just a hilarious time. So for $5, wow, John JID, what's up, bro? AEW's back to unknown CMLL talents coming in, like Hechi Chero and Stephanie Vacquer. I also started recently listening to 83 Weeks. Wow, Conrad's and oh, come on, John JID. Now that's unfair. Oh, come on now. That's unfair. He's not. Oh, come on now. Eric's not that. Conrad's not that bad. I think Eric's more annoying. He's disingenuous, and he's an old head podcaster. Okay? He's an old head podcaster. Oh, come on, John JID. That's not very fair. Yeah, you guys. So last live show, last live show on Wednesday. Oh, and we have a very thank you so much for the super chat. Well, here, let me do this in order here. John JID, thank you for the super chat. But to touch on what you're saying, Stephanie Vasquez or whatever. We were watching Dynamite together, guys, and I was like, oh, they did a promo for Megan Bain. That wasn't Megan Bain. That was that girl. And then she came out and challenged Mercedes. Like, you understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, I mean, that just went all over all of our heads. I'll give myself a dummy for that. Where is it?
Dummy, yeah.
But yeah, dude, that was very, 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 very dumb on my part. But also, I didn't fucking know, because where's Megan Bain been at? Where's she been at, man? It's crazy. So they just played a package for Stephanie Vacquer, and then they just brought her in to fight Mercedes later. Like, wow, that was, I don't know. That's just silliness. And yeah, thank you for the super chat. Round of applause for yourself, good sir, and a round of applause joining us on the show. your friend and mine and ours and everyone's friend, Hairline the Heater. Hairline, what's happening, bruv? What's going on, buddy?
Oh, man.
What's up, buddy?
Not much, man.
Right on, man. Putting out some tunes, putting out some visuals and whatnot as of late, or what?
Okay, so just plug here quickly. Yeah, just dropped a new music video, you guys. It's called "The Quick, the Lucky, and the Dead." So go on to YouTube after this. That is, and immediately after this, you go do that. Search that shit, check it out, give it a like. I appreciate it. Other than that, man, holy shit, dude! Fucking NXT on fire.
Dude,
WWE.
on fire. Quickly, give me your thoughts. We talked about it ad nauseum the last live stream or two or whatever. Tell me your thoughts, though, Hairline. What do you think about Jordan Grace and TNA and NXT and their seeming working relationship heading forward? What do you think about Ethan Page joining up and attacking Trick? And yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay. Jordan Grace, fucking awesome. I popped really hard. She deserves it, man. I honestly I haven't been interested in Impact since they parted ways with Scott D'Amore, but like as like huge supporters of that shit, it's good. Like it's good to see her get that kind of attention.
Oh yeah.
And then okay, so All Ego Ethan Page, was that the guy that fought himself at the TNA pay-per-view?
Sorry, what?
All Ego Ethan Page, is that the guy that like karate fought himself?
Yeah, he's like the Karate Man cinematic match. Yeah, sorry, for a second I almost didn't even understand what you were saying. Yes, he did fight himself in a karate match in a Matt Hardy's thing. Sorry, but yeah, dude, he was in AEW. They buried him down to like Ring of Honor. We haven't seen him in a long ass time, and yeah, he's not he claims he's not really signed with NXT, which I don't believe. I think that's an angle they're working, sort of like what they're doing with Brooks Jensen. They're doing like the Jack Perry thing with Brooks Jensen. But yeah, sorry, you go ahead though. Like your thoughts on Ethan Page versus Trick. Like, are you excited for that?
Well, again, so just not to fucking parrot myself, but fucking what I always go to here. Shawn Michaels yet again showing that if you come to WWE, you will indeed be treated like a star. You won't be just some guy that gets left on red. You know what I'm saying? So good for him, man.
Yeah, dude. Phil almost busted a nut talking about NXT. I really did, Hairline. Sorry, you keep going, man. My bad.
Man, I wish I was there for that shit, man, because I love NXT. So like,
yeah, I went nuts, dude. I was marking out hard, like yelling at how good it was, man. Sorry, I'm just flipping through the members chats there, guys. And yeah, so Hairline, what do you like? People are like, what value does Ethan Page add? Blah blah blah. It's like he's got good veteran skills, right? He's a good worker, like what him and Josh Alexander were doing. And who knows, like he could, to me, what I pitched was like, okay, TNA, because obviously we're going to get like an NXT star go and wrestle Jordan Grace in TNA. And obviously we're going to get Jordan Grace, like we're going to get, like she's fighting on NXT this week. So it's like, we're going to see more crossovers than like Natty Neidhart and fucking Jordan Grace have been going back and forth on X and social media, being like, yeah, you know, we'll face each other. And then like all of these TNA talent, like Mustafa Ali and Cedric Alexander, like, yeah, we'll throw down. Like we did it once before. Let's go again, you know? And so obviously we're going to get more stuff like this. And what I'm pitching is like, we could have TNA and NXT be like, that's how you rotate people. Like, look at what Naomi did. She went and rotated the TNA territory. Now she's back in the WWE territory. You know what I mean? And that's a way to keep, like, Natty could go work a program with fucking Masha Slamovich and, you know what I mean? And or like whoever, dude. She could go work a program with like Jordan Grace over on TNA for, you know what I mean? Like 6 months and then come back to WWE. Like that could work, dude. Like that would work really well. And I think that's they should do more of that instead of just like, oh, a TNA guy main roster right away or whatever. Like you could do what Ethan Page is doing. Like, no, I'm not even signed to NXT, bro. You know, like I'll show up wherever, but yeah, I'm gonna work like a few months here. I'm gonna work a program. Maybe they call me up. Maybe I'm exclusive. Maybe I'm not. Like who knows? But I just love it. And there's a lot of the freakazoids, if you will, who are oh my god, they're just copying the Forbidden Door and all of that, and it's like, what do you think about people?
Open. That's just coping, Doug. That's all that
Yeah,
is.
dude.
Really. Doug, speaking of Masha Slamovich, right before I hopped on the pod, I was actually watching GCW's Tournament of Survival. So that was
Okay,
pretty cool.
how was that
Oh, yeah,
going?
man. I just finished fucking Brandon Kirk versus John Wayne Murdoch, and fucking I told my buddy if Kirk loses, I'm turning this shit off. And
Yeah.
as you see, here I am. So
Oh, okay. So makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah, man. So what did you think about like Double or Nothing? I don't think I got your thoughts on that. Like,
I know it's been so long. You guys, I apologize. Fucking again, I work very fucking early hours and just
yeah,
it
man.
sucks. But
What did you think though? Like, as your name says though, like I'm so curious, dude. Oh, on fire like Jungle Boy. I'm super curious, hairline.
Jungle
Your
Boy
thoughts
finally
on
got
your
Jungle Boy.
thoughts?
My bad.
No, man. I'm just saying your thoughts on like Double or Nothing as a whole, like the whole card, and then yeah, like the Jungle Boy thing. Like, what did you think of that spot where he lights himself on fire and all of
All right.
that?
So the whole card itself, man, it just felt way too fucking long. I watched it in two intervals. I gave it a good 2.5 hours, and then I hit pause after the Edge and Malachi Black match, and I was like, "What do you mean? I still have almost 2 hours left of this shit?" So no way I could have done it in one sitting. I can't believe Edge did that shit to himself.
Oh
Um,
yeah, so Edge, he jumped off the thing, broke his tibia. We covered it on the last show. He's like, "Oh, I'm doing great and everything." I got some Edge news, not news, but just some Edge comments in Phil Mark's bookmarks, which we're about to dive into. But
oh,
yeah, man, I can't believe he jumped off that cage, broke his shit, and like now you have Edge on the shelf for like what, 6
yeah,
months out of his like what 2-3 year deal. Like it's so dumb. It's like why did he do that? He didn't need to do that. He's obviously trying to give a moment to AEW, but it's just they're not worthy of it, dude. I feel like at this point, like goddamn Edge just gave his tibia. That might have just ended, that might have just made him go, yeah, fuck it, I ain't coming back ever again to wrestling, period. You know what I mean? It could have just
yeah.
robbed us of something. So I don't know.
Well, like most of all, man, like what? So what is Tony gonna get out of him here? He's just gonna come on TV and like hype up the crowd, or is he gonna come do commentary, some shit like that? Because like,
Well,
fuck,
yeah, I mean, we'll talk about it. Apparently he's like stepping above and beyond, like stepping up, like backstage, and not like the way Dave puts it is not like other people who've come from WWE.
oh
But
what?
before we get into all that, man,
Okay,
Jack
yeah.
Perry lighting
So.
himself on fire doing a fire stunt. What do you think about that?
What the fuck was that? What okay, first off, Anarchy in the arena itself. What the fuck was that? Like, hey, here's my entrance song. No, here's my entrance song. No, here's my entrance song. No, boys, no entrance songs. This is costing us way too much money. And then dude, that was like the first 5 minutes, dog. Um, and then so like the fire spot, Jack Perry finally got some heat, huh? That's what that was. Some
Yeah.
actual fucking heat, dog. So
And then
how dummy.
and then they dangled Darby above the ring with Martha Hart there.
Yeah. I didn't even know Martha Hart was there. That just made it 100 times worse.
Yeah, dude, they brought her out at the pre-show, and Tony Khan announced that the winners of the Owen Hart Memorial tourneys both get title shots at the respective world titles. What do you think about that?
I guess good for them, but fucking how disrespectful for Martha. I don't know. Like, Jesus Christ.
And
Was it, I, so, like, what was the point of all that? Darby came back early with a broken foot and broken nose
yeah, because
so
Eddie
that,
Kingston broke his leg, so they had no one else.
right, so that the Bucks can, like, still go over. And, like, I was listening to that interview with Tony Khan where he was talking about him texting Darby and whatever. And Darby, like, volunteered himself, and Tony going, "Oh, that's actually what I
Text
wanted."
messages. I mean, I don't do those. Nah, pal. I don't send texts. Oh, I do. They're great. It's the quickest way to communicate with the safest wrestlers in the world.
Yeah, me and Darby, we share one brain. It's great. Very, very provocative. What same brain?
Chat saying 200K for the final countdown to play it on the pay-per-view. The final countdown. Yeah, it was pretty crazy, man. It was pretty crazy. You guys run those likes up. We're gonna jump into Philmarks, bookmarks. You already know, but make sure you run those likes up. We're at 31. There's 80. There's 90 of you watching. Get those likes up to 50. 69 is what we try and hit every show. It's sort of become a bit. So hit that 69, and then we'll go from there, guys. But did you watch Dynamite the week after though? So Osprey wins the international title, and then he wins this like a Royal Rumble gauntlet pin match, but only one guy gets pinned. So fundamentally, this match is it was fun. I said it on the live stream. I was like, I'm thoroughly sports entertained with this match, but the problem with it on a fundamental level is whoever gets the first pin wins. Instead of just what it should be is a Royal Rumble where anything goes and you can get pinned and you have to get pinned in the ring. That and everyone gets eliminated. That would be a good concept, but then you have to pin a bunch of guys. So AEW goes, there's only going to be one pinfall. But then they don't explain the match like it's a gauntlet match. But if like Jay White had a pin, like if the first two guys pin each other, it's just over. So then you got 10 boys in the back from CMLL and New Japan and shit. Now, of course, that's not going to happen. And I'm being a mark, but we're watching wrestling. So it's in kayfabe. You know what I'm saying, Hairline? In kayfabe, right. If the first two entries just pin each other, then you got 8 guys you flew in from fucking Mexico and New Japan and shit who are just backstage who don't get to wrestle tonight. You know what I mean? It makes no sense. So just unless they explained it, and chat can tell me wrong if they explain, but we missed it. They did 2 of those. They did one at Daly's, and then they Hot Shot Book did another one already. Hey, why didn't you just do this one? Like, goddamn, like, what, you just stepping on your own dick, dude. And but yeah, if that match was like elimination style, I would have enjoyed it more, I think. But and I was sports entertained by it. It was like uber indie shit, but it was I just wanted your thoughts. Like, what did you think about that concept of the match? And like Osprey's the international champ. He won that shit. He gets a shot at Swerve already. He's probably going to lose to Swerve if I had to, because he's going to win at Wembley. Like they're building up to Osprey wins at Wembley. It'll be great. So like your thoughts on like Wembley's the international champ. What are your thoughts on that match? And what are your thoughts on him going to face Swerve?
Well, I guess I will start this with going off Tony Khan logic. What we've seen him do before is like, how quickly did we see Adam Cole and MJF touch hands? How quickly did we see various other people touch hands right away? So clearly they're going to wrestle right away. So that is what it is. And also my other statement, I think Swerve's going to get injured here really quickly because he's like, okay, I would compare it to Seth Rollins, this run he's been doing here. He's defending the belt. He's showing that yada, yada, yada. But at the same time, he's not resting, And now we got, a good year that we're not going to have Seth Rollins. So, like, this was worth it, but at what cost, So.
Yep. And and then obviously him at Wembley, right? Going over on Swerve. Like Swerve beats him here, and then he wins at Wembley.
Yeah, okay, yeah, for sure. It's just fucking what a waste.
Yeah,
dude,
I agree.
Another tattoo, bro.
And yeah, guys, we're on that Perry pack tonight. You guys already know what it is. So Hairline, do you want to jump into Philmarks bookmarks and see what's been going on, bruv, with the news and all that? Hold on though. Let me first, before we get into that, let's talk about SmackDown. You watch SmackDown?
Yeah.
Okay, so this shit was really good, and I know, and I'm glad you're here, Hairline, because I know the good folks, the good PWT universe, want to hear us do a good old review. Yeah, we're going old school, anniversary style. Make the ropes red, white, and blue for the troops. I'm sorry. I'm so Trump. What about? We'll get into that later, man. Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh man. Well, it's relevant to pro wrestling, so we get it. I know everywhere's all. Anyways, guys, so let's look at let's look at SmackDown. Doc Chris Mueller did the SmackDown results, and let's review it. So I don't know, man. There's a recap. Yeah, you watched it, so let's get into it. PWT chat. I know you guys like when we do these reviews here, so we're gonna get into it here. Unplanned. Yeah, I'm ripping up the script and throwing it out. I have a conspiracy theory. Are you guys ready? Here's my conspiracy theory.
I filed.
Vince has been mentoring Tony McCann for a while now because just kidding. No, Tony just wishes he was Vince. But like, just think about it. He's doing everything. Like we're gonna get into it later. I think we talked about it on the last live stream. I think with Awful, but Brian Alvarez is saying like Tony's ripping up scripts like on the fly and doing everything Vince was doing when WWE was at its worst. You know what I mean? Instead of being innovative and doing what WWE's doing now before Triple H had the chance to do it with WWE, you know? So it's an epic fail. You haven't watched SmackDown yet, John? Sorry.
Nope.
You're about to get it spoiled, bruv. So there's a recap video for both the King and Queen of the Ring. Catches you up on everything going on in WWE, which is great. And then Bayley comes out to the ring, and I think Nia Jax was out there. Yeah, and then she's talking. She's like, Bayley, get out here so I can get a shot at your belt. And then Niven and Chelsea jumper. Now I was like, shit, we're gonna get a Niven, Chelsea, Nia faction, and that could happen, but I was like, don't do that, please, because Chelsea and Niven are good on just doing their own thing. But what happened was like they sort of backed down, and like we're getting like maybe Niven and Nia might throw down, so like that's cool, you know, two kaiju ladies, like I'm down with whatever comes of this. But Bayley was laying there looking like a chump. I did not like that. I thought that was bad. You know, she's just laying there like overselling, and they're doing all their stuff, and it's like, you're the women's champ, like have the wherewithal to get out of the ring or reverse some shit and escape, or they better put you like through a fucking table or do, you know, hit you with like two finishers or something, so you're like really laid out, because she's just laying there. They're all wearing heels and shit. I'm like, I don't know. Okay. You know, Chelsea Green's thing was thangin'. Shout out Matt Cardona. and then it goes into this Ciampa Waller match, and I couldn't give a shit for this match, really. And I was cheering for fucking Theory. Pardon me, not Waller, but Waller was out there with him, and I was cheering for Theory. Ciampa gets the win. Your thoughts on all of that, and then we'll get into the through line that is the storyline of this show with AJ Styles. But yeah, your thoughts on the opening segment and then the Theory Ciampa match.
So this Nia Jax shit is clearly and very fucking evident that The Rock isn't indeed part of like the bosses, you know. Yeah, especially the way Triple H was like hugging her and all that. And no, I will say Nia, I guess is trying to step it up. She's trying on the mic, but very similar to Pebbles. You know, she just doesn't quite have the charisma that her other family members possess. And then, yeah, Bayley got pretty cucked out here. And how fucking awesome was fucking Chelsea here? Like, just fucking, I could do another like good year of this tag team. You know, of her just hyping her as like,
and
Piper just goes big body, and then
oh, sorry, go ahead, yeah.
Grayson and fucking. The Grayson on commentary was great here. The whole I enjoyed how commentary was like referencing the way shit and talking about NXT and shit as far as like,
yeah, I bet you did, you Mark.
That was provocative actually. But yeah, man, pretty good start to SmackDown. Other than Bayley getting cucked out.
So AJ Styles, he's back. Well, I was going to talk about Nia there. I almost interrupted you there, bud. But I was going to say, I was just going to say, you know, Nia, you know, Dave rating her shit low. People are trying to shit on her, but she had the best match at that fucking King of the Ring, like the most memorable finish. Like I thought the coolest finish. And then also like, I don't know. She's been doing great work. She's like redeemed herself fully, man. Her matches have been all solid. She's getting everyone else over. I I don't know, dude. She's more of like a killer now, is like squishing people and stuff.
Right.
The psychology's there way better as far as like her selling and the way she sells and like what she does and the pacing of the matches. Obviously she gave Jade Cargill more recently, but that's, like obviously it's Jade, So I just think Nia's doing great work, man, and we're gonna get into why fucking people are crapping on her and why especially Dave, that dummy, has got problems with Nia. We're gonna talk about that in a bit. But
Promo Dead A. Is that
yeah.
steak I smell in the back?
Yeah. You hear that sizzle, Daddy?
I do hear it.
So AJ Styles was shown asking Aldis, speaking of sizzle to the steak, this is the beginning of, there's rumors. Oh, AJ Styles might go to TNA again. AJ Styles might go to AEW. His time's up. Apparently, all these contracts are coming up in WWE, which a majority of these are works where they're already re-signed. Like, I'm sorry, but you got to understand Becky Lynch is never going to leave WWE. Trust me, she's going to retire before you ever see her anywhere else. AJ, I don't know. I always said it. I could see him doing like a one-off for AEW at like an All Out. Like, like having his ending WrestleMania match.
He'll do something with the Bucks.
Yeah, I could absolutely see AJ retiring, quote unquote, in WWE, and then like a year later just showing up as like a mystery partner at an All In, doing a program quickly and then retiring, going back to WWE, doing the Hall of Fame. Like, he's a WWE for lifer. He's not going to go anywhere else and grind it out and do the house shows day in and day. He's not doing any of that. And I don't see him signing like a long-term deal with AEW or anything, but I could absolutely see him doing an appearance for TNA now that Endeavor's clearly and WWE are clearly invested in working together and stuff like that. So, but he's not going anywhere. If we see Natty, quote unquote, go somewhere, it's because that's the image they're painting. Oh, she left WWE to go to TNA, but really it's like, no, Natty, you go work in TNA for a year and then you come back to your job and train in NXT or whatever. Or like, come back, we'll give you your send off. Like that's why TNA is important, I think. And a lot of people talk about like their library and, they could be buying TNA. I don't even think buying it. They don't need to buy it. They can just work together. That's just better that way anyways. Anyways, it's just like, but like WWE, they don't own Marigold, but they have vested interest in that shit and they work with Rossi. It's just better that way of, it's better for the pro wrestling industry that way if they don't just absorb every single last thing. Anything that's competition though, like WCW or AEW, let's say, yeah, you like absorb that shit. Yeah, we're gonna destroy it, and then I'm gonna then I'm gonna pick up none of the contracts because they're on Turner Warner. We're gonna get the AEW invasion, but it's only gonna be the guys from Ring of Honor. Dude, oh my god, imagine the AEW invasion where like the Bucks and Kenny and them choose to sit home. Who do they have invade? Like fucking here's Colt Cabana. Here's Colt Cabana and Brandon Cutler. Yeah, dude. Oh my god.
It'll be Jericho.
Yeah, it'd be Jericho, yeah. And then who would defect? It would be like, yeah, Cody would have to it would be Punk, bro. Like when Austin defected to WCW during that invasion, Punk would defect. Then he'd be like, actually, I am AEW for $10. Thank you so much, man. From what I was reading, TKO negotiates with talent as their contracts come due. It's what TKO does with UFC talent. Yeah, exactly, dude. That's what UFC does. And if you're a champion, well, here's what also TKO / Endeavor / UFC does. If you're a champion or you have like clout, they will wait until your next fight. Well, they always do this with champions in UFC. When you win the belt, they renege your contract then if it's in their favor. If it's cheaper, then they try not to. But whenever you have one fight left, if UFC wants you, they'll renege with you right then. So like with one fight left though, so they'll wait. If you have 4 fights left, they'll ride that out until you're on your last fight and especially with champions, they'll try and renegotiate before they become free agents right before. And it seems like that is what WWE's doing. It's like, here's a big match. Here's your world title run. You know, but I think this is good. It's like, Becky, here's your world title run.
Right.
You've helped us so much. Go take time and be a mom and heal up and go be with your hurt husband. And you guys will come back. Like, how do we miss you if you don't go away? You guys will come back in 6 months, a year, and it'll all be good. And Becky, you don't ever have to wrestle again. You can just be an ambassador for WWE if you want. They never cut ties with her. She's a real draw, like as a female talent. And it's like she wouldn't go anywhere. Like, what would she do? What the fuck would she do, man? Like, jump off a cage somewhere like Ed? She just did that on Raw. So it's like she's all good.
Like,
yeah. Okay. And she didn't break her fucking
I wanted to say this earlier and it slipped my mind, but hearing you say cage, it reminded me of Edge jumping off the cage. It's just more of the Sting shit where like these older guys are getting peer pressured to wrestle like the younger guys, when these are the guys that need to be speaking up and be like, hey, dummies, we're supposed to be working smarter, not harder. We're supposed to be working the fucking Marks Carney shit.
Yeah, man. But yeah, thank you so much. Round of applause for that super chatting. You're right. You're right about that. Absolutely. And we have another one here from Jimmy B. Thank you. Buy out AEW just to fire Jeff. Oh man, thank you for the super chat, Jimmy B. I think, yeah, buy AEW, and then he goes, yeah, Vince goes on TV or Triple H. Yeah, there's one guy, JEFF, and he's GONEE.
Get out here, pal.
Oh man, that's funny. So yeah, AJ Styles though, he's teasing, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go work somewhere else. I've done everything I can do. We get Andrade versus Apollo Crews randomly, and Crews is out there, and I'm like, sweet, it's good to see him. I'm not hating, but I don't know, they had a good match. Legato's trying to convince Andrade to come join them. Looks like he's not going to, just like in AEW. So it's literally like sort of continuing his AEW storyline of like different factions and managers are like, Andrade, we want you to be with us. And he's like, no mas. No.
Promo last week. But the week before, dude, when they let him speak and like had the captions at the bottom, like, fuck, dude, AEW dropped the ball on that shit.
Yep. And so we got I don't know, we got a match though. Andrade, really, I enjoy him. I love him. And good shit. Good solid match. And then we get a backstage segment where Aldis, the best GM in pro wrestling today, without a doubt, grants Naomi and Bailey a tag match against Green and Nevin. And LA Knight was shown asking about Logan Paul, but no Logan Paul. And Logan Paul cut a promo. I'll play it here on the show in a minute, or I don't think I bookmarked it, guys, but he's drinking wine and he's like, you're a dummy. Yeah. He's talking shit to LA Knight. So, and then, there was that spot. So they made note of it here where Andrade did the drop kick, landed right on Cruz's fucking face, but it was cool. It was like a drop kick into a moonsault almost is what it looked like. You AEW nerds. No, just kidding. Ultimately, someone in the chat says Aldis is what Mark Henry should have been for AEW. Exactly what William Regal should have been. Nailed
it again.
Yes,
back-to-back nails, one hammer.
Nailed it. Yeah. Sorry, I'm watching this fight too, and Mickey Gall's just getting that ass beat. They're going back and forth, but he
Is
really
you're watching the UFC shit?
Yeah, I'm watching UFC 302. I don't got Collision on tonight, so I don't know. People are going to have to give. Yeah, we got Dustin Poirier fighting. They have the new UFC gloves as well for the first time in fucking years, man. They have the newly designed gloves and all of that. Combat Sports Time coming soon. Oh my goodness! And joining us now on the show.
Drum roll.
Drum roll, please. Round of applause, please. And this gentleman is going to help us review SmackDown. And then we're going to talk about a little bit of drama he got in this week. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Our favorite guest, I think my favorite guest. I won't even lie. Awful Wrestling. Round of applause for my man. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
What's happening? Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Sound okay. What's going on, fellas? What's happening, Airline?
What up, Doug? Did you get a better mic?
I'm plugged up to my computer. I'm usually plugged up to my phone because I'm usually in my work shed. So
yeah, dude, you're shimmying around. So dude, yeah, you sound crispy clean and
nice.
Yeah, man. What are you up to tonight on this fine evening? How's life?
Just chilling. Did a whole bunch of yard work today. I know people, I actually live in a house and have a backyard and all that. Take care of some plants. We've got some rabbits that are fucking my plants up. But that's another story for a different day.
Yeah, dude.
Going on, chat? What's happening?
They love you, man. They were asking for you early on, and they were like, Thurston went at him, and I'm like, oh yeah, we'll get into that. And Awful's always welcome here. And man, people, I got some haters coming at me on X there, like from our last live show we did, Awful, and people were like, well, this one dude was like, you literally have the most toxic AEW hater account on your podcast, and he was just freaking out. And I was like, bro, you didn't hear him call me redacted? I was like, bro, we were arguing the whole time. I don't agree with him the whole time, bro. I was like, that's not what makes a good conversation. Like, don't be so triggered. And then he kind of came around, actually, but he was still just being a little ass. But I catch heat working with you, my good friend, Awful. But
man,
I'll never stop.
Send that heat this way. Man. Send all that smoke this way.
Yeah, man. He wants the smoke. So we're reviewing Smackdown. Did you get a chance to watch it, to check it out?
I actually watched just a little bit of it before I, went outside and touched grass. But yeah, I heard it was an okay show.
It was pretty decent. It was pretty decent. We have just lots of storytelling. So the through line of the show is AJ's like, I got to make an announcement in the ring. Nick Aldis, please give me a minute. Like my future is in question, whatever. Mm-hmm. And let's give me a moment. And he shakes hands with Aldis, and Aldis is like, okay, we'll give you that time. You go out there, do your thing, right? That's one story being told. The other story being told throughout the night is that Solo Sikoa and the Tongans. So Paul Heyman goes out there at some point, cuts a brilliant promo, a brilliant one, and just gets over the fact that, and the crowd's chanting, "We want Roman," and Kevin Owens is out there, and Paul Heyman just goes off on a brilliant 10 out of 10 stars in the Korakuen Hall fucking you know what I mean, promo where he's going, Kevin Owens, like, everything Roman put you through is because he respected you and he actually feared you taking his title. Like, you were a legitimate threat and he has tremendous respect for you. And then he goes, but these Tongans and Solo, they have no respect for anybody. He's like, they're bloodthirsty animals. They're dude. He's like, they're savages. They're criminals. He's like, they're borderline criminal. They're bloodthirsty, right? And so, man, just spitting fire and then telling the story of like, yeah, Roman was a piece of shit, but he's gonna come back and be a babyface. How do we forgive him? So he's planting the seeds already. It's like, no, oh, Kevin, everything Roman put you through was because you actually made him scared. Like, he's making us like empathetic towards Roman, or like, he's making Roman human again after him being this god after so long. Roman's not even on TV, and Heyman's doing it because he's such a brilliant just wizard on the stick, man. And so I'm blowing this to death, guys. I'm snapping again, but it was just Paul, man. I can't stress it enough, just how he's the layers to this story. And if people are saying the bloodline story's falling off, I'm sorry. You just, like, you ain't never read a book, bro. Chapter 4 sometimes chapter 2 is better than 4, but 4 sets up what happens in 6, which culminates 8 or whatever. Like, it's called Beats, man. And this is really, man, this is a really important part and an important episode of SmackDown. I felt maybe it wasn't the most lit SmackDown. It was an important SmackDown for storylines. And
Paul Heyman is one of those guys that he doesn't have to show you anything. He can tell you. You know what I mean? Like, he's one of those
Right.
few gems in professional wrestling where it's just like he doesn't have to show you anything. He just all he has to do is just tell you, and you get the story right then and there.
Yeah, dude, he could sell sand on a beach. You know what I mean? So he does this whole promo, and Kevin's my girlfriend sees Kevin Owens, and she always goes, he looks like he stinks. Like he looks like he smells bad, is what she says, right? And then she goes, "Oh, he looks good. He looks kind of lean, like he showered and stuff." So shut up, Kevin. I'm sorry, bro. That's what my girl said. I'm sorry. But she goes, she's saying that, and Kevin's looking good though. He is. He's looking tan. He's looking good. He's looking lean. And so, but it's serious, and he might, I don't know, we might see a little bit like, is Heyman working Kevin? I don't know, but he's selling it good, just sort of being serious, and a guy who a lot of people go, Kevin Owens is just like that fat guy who can fight. I think he's starting to show more than that too now, and the whole RKO sort of tag thing, I think it's I don't know, is that still a thing? He was wearing an RKO shirt, so I'm questioning all that. Whatever. We get into a tag match. The GODs versus the Street Profits, man. And the GODs were just great. To me, I was marking out so fucking hard as a New Japan mark seeing this match. This is a match. Who would have ever thought we'd see the GODs versus the Street Profits for what it was? And the psychology, man, was just really good of the way this guy rated it a B, good, because and this guy's calling it GOD too. They just call it the Bloodline. I call it the GOD. We all know what it is. But
so it was a good match, huh?
Man, it was just a good tag match. They do good psychology, like solid tags, cut off the ring. Tama's like the speedy savage, beat you down, and then to slow it down, he tags in Loa. You know what I mean? Then Tonga Loa comes in. And he starts his powerhouse shit. He does like these and then they do vicious shit, like slam him in the turnbuckle, pop him up for a power slam, and like just, it's nothing too crazy, and it's not botchy. It just looks like two guys mugging you and gooning you, running clothesline, punch you a million times, bite your forehead. Haku, bro. I love it. I love this shit. And they're just selling these guys like really well as like, here's the wacky, crazy cousins that you don't like to drink with on the holidays because they get crazy, but they punch somebody. And yeah, man, I love this. I'm blowing it to death, this whole segment. And
so this is why the Street Profit, because I had my TV on low and I saw the Street Profits in the beginning of the show, and they were walking into the ring, and they certainly did have the "I'm jobbing for somebody tonight" look on their face. So
yeah, so
that's all I saw. But I had no idea that they were facing GOD. So
yeah, man. Are you familiar with them from back in New Japan day or what?
Not from New Japan. I'm getting familiar with them now. I mean, I guess when I watch the match, I'll judge for myself. People are saying it's a good match. I'll see.
Yeah, it wasn't like blow you away. It's just good psychology. Yeah. It's good wrestling, bro. It's like that's a TV tag team match right there. Hairline. Your thoughts, man. GODs, bro. All this time later, dude. GODs in SmackDown fighting Profits. Your thoughts on Heyman's promo and this match?
I guess initially what I want to start off with here is like the brilliance of this entire thing of Paul Heyman just getting across how dangerous and scary these guys are. Is when fucking Jacob debuts, Paul's just gonna be like, this guy's the most dangerous ever. So like,
yeah,
it's just like you said, chapter 4, chapter 6 is where we're gonna get Jacob, all that shit. Yeah. All right, the match itself, whoo, like you said, never saw this coming, fucking. And as that New Japan mark, holy fuck, dog, it's just great to see them get this moment,
Right. You know what? Paul Heyman saved these guys millions of dollars by not showing any New Japan pro wrestling footage. Just tell the story. Just like I said earlier, like you don't have to show anything going on in Tokyo or anything like that to get across that these guys are vicious animals. They're savages and all that.
They're savages. Yeah, they're bloody savages. Yeah.
Yeah,
they're bloodthirsty animals. Yeah. They're dogs. Yeah, crawl around like a dog and bark.
Yeah, dogs are funny.
Yeah, I think that's why I didn't like Homeboy's entrance last week. Because
for every woman who strips naked and barks like a dog on Raw, I'll donate a puppy to a friend, or maybe
he was crawling like a dog.
You'll have to pick them up from my private plane, though. I just can't text you the coordinates. That's the only thing I can't do. Sorry, I'm so sorry. We have a super chat. John JID says Dax just said in a promo, if I have to walk out here and breathe my last breath for everyone who gets a paycheck at AEW, I will do it.
Dork.
Hairline, what do you think about that?
What a dork. God, okay, we get it. You fucking, is this all you have to do to fucking keep your job and like your job security? Boom. That's exactly what this is.
I think it's more than that. I think he wants to just stay on TV because he's already got the job security. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like there's going to be a breach of contract, but I just think he wants to stay on. Like, this is how you do it. You got to always suck ass and say that, you know, AEW is where the best wrestler. In fact, Swerve Strickland has not said those words, and look where he's at.
Yeah. You're right.
Think about that. Right. Anybody who's not said it, anybody who has said it is now on top. Well, save for Edge, who was on the top of the cage and then he broke his tibia. But as far as everybody else, like if you don't say the buzzword, you don't say those buzzwords, bull, you'll be in catering for a little while longer. Or if you're a world champion, you'll be mid-carding it.
Or if you're Ryan Nemeth, you'll get out of your contract because your brother's Dolph Ziggler somehow. Yeah. So thank you for the super chat, man. I'm on one tonight, man. Okay. So let's keep going here. Let's fly through there because that was the key shit. Let's get to the AJ stuff, but we get the whole Naomi and Bayley versus Niven and Green. They actually get the win over Bayley and Naomi. Shocked me. I'm cool. The crowd wasn't really into this match though. It was lots of crickets for Naomi's little taunts and chants and all that. Your guys' thoughts?
They haven't done shit with Naomi from what I've seen in the last few weeks. I mean,
yeah.
You know, so like this was just like good filler to get us to like from point A to point B, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So and then Naomi is a decent worker. Her and Bayley have good chemistry together. But yes, basically what you guys both said there. Nothing about this was like ta-da or like popped out, you know.
So then we get to the main event, which was the main event, by the way, but the main event segment, if you will.
Oh yeah, this segment.
It was AJ, and AJ pulled the Mark Henry, and I wasn't sold on it for 1 second, and a lot of people are shitting on it like this is too obvious and blah blah blah. And I think Mr. Santi
tell that to a 9-year-old.
Exactly.
Tell that to a 10-year-old. You know what I mean? Like that was like
sometimes 2 plus 2 needs to equal 4. Like Miss Elizabeth and Macho Man and Hogan and all that was obvious at times too. But we still talk about it to this day. Like it was obvious that fucking Hogan was gonna slam Andre at WrestleMania. Like that was pretty obvious to me. No, like I don't know. That was what it was building up to. It's the only big spot you can really do with Andre. They're at WrestleMania. Like I don't know. There's stories where 2 plus 2 needs to equal 4. Mr. Santi Zap said that, who's a great content creator, by the way, as well in the pro wrestling space. But yeah, I just agree with that. Like sometimes 2 plus 2 need to equal 4. And I just think what this does more than anything is make Cody look kind of dumb. Like he's just this gullible guy who, from Brock to AJ to everyone, just swerves him and beats the shit out of him. Like he should have known better from AJ, who's been like a slime bucket as of late as a heel, right? Like it just makes Cody look kind of dumb as the world champ for real, you know? Obviously they're trying to continue like him as the champ being that sympathetic underdog. But maybe they should have unleashed, like maybe Gallows and Anderson should have stomped out Cody too, and they made it like maybe a 3-on-1. I don't know, but we're continuing this AJ versus Cody stuff. We're gonna see more of it. I also don't think it'll be long before we see like Gallows and Anderson and the GODs cross paths, and we see some weird Bullet Club for the Marks type interactions as well. I don't see them making a big deal out of that, but I do see them. I don't know, man. We got Naomi and Nia on the same show as well. Like we could get some female bloodline. We could see some bloodline versus OC type shit spurring off of it. So I don't know. There's lots, you know, to look forward to, but I just think Cody looked a little dumb in all this. But
how did this all look?
The Mark Henry, and I thought this was a great segment, though. I don't want to bury this segment at all. And yeah, it was obvious, but 2 and 2 make 4 sometimes. Sorry, you go ahead, Awful.
Did it feel authentic? Like when Mark Henry and John Cena did it? Mark Henry, I believe, was off television for just a little bit. It seems like AJ Styles was still kind of on television, and so when this went down, me personally, I didn't see it. I just saw the clips on Twitter. But me personally, I was just like, okay, I can see where this works, but it doesn't feel as authentic as it did with Mark Henry and John Cena some years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. It didn't hit as hard, but it was just a good little segment to close out the show and to keep the feud going. Hairline, your thoughts, man?
Yeah, man. So like it obviously being a lifelong Mark, I knew it was a work, but like Awful kind of said there, like to an 8-year-old, this was cinema, so
right.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel about Mark Henry's turn? Were you guys surprised by that when it went down?
Yeah, that one I got worked.
Okay, I got worked.
Everyone got worked. Yeah, that one worked. Everybody.
I got worked.
But again, like how, like, my mind was feebler. Is that a word, feebler?
Right. Oh yeah,
more feeble. I don't know.
What was that? 10 years ago?
Yeah. So it was like,
so you guys were like 13, 14 years old.
Yeah, no, not even.
No, I'm joking.
I was like 20, 21.
Okay.
However long ago it was. Yeah, so that was SmackDown. I'll give it like a B, solid overall. A round of applause. So Awful, you found yourself in a little bit of controversy on a topic I've been covering on PWT podcast for quite some time, with Dose and of course yourself. We talk about it a bit, but of course me and Dose get into more of the nitty-gritty when it comes to like the numbers and all of that. Well, he does. I just listen and go, I'm a great host. What can I say? I won't do anything. I won't do any, or I wouldn't make you do anything I wouldn't do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Sorry. Yeah. Except for kittens. I wouldn't ever make you bring a plane full of kittens to my friends. Who released that story? I can't get over that story. Yeah, actually, Vince had a plane full of fucking kittens. Like they were trying to get favor. One puppy, one singular puppy, and he was donating cats to his friends. What? Like, doesn't even make sense. Like who did they think that would like make him look better? Anyways, though, Awful, man. So you've gotten yourself into a little bit of a pickle, a little tussle on X. I know you don't give 2 shits about it, but I don't know. People were like, "Oh, Awful got lambasted by Brandon Thurston," and a topic we talk about quite a bit on PWT Live Show and Podcast is like the TV ratings for AEW and this TV deal that's imminent, and it's not looking too great for them right now, or at least in comparison to what Dose has been saying, which if you compare it to what Meltzer says, is basically like they're saying the same shit. Meltzer's just saying it all this time later now because he's forced to admit it, but it seems like Tony Khan wants to sell the package deal. He wants the pay-per-view and all the TV shows and all the Ring of Honor and the tape library, and he's valuing all that, blah, 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 blah. And the TV ratings are something that often get brought up. Well, look, they're not that great. I've always said AEW's got about 800,000 who will tune in regularly throughout the week. So they're not going to show up for every show live, but they'll be there. If you got to add Collision with Dynamite or whatever, you got about 800,000 who are going to tap in every week, and check it out, who watch TV. There's a lot who pirate and stream it.
And that's if all of them watch. That's if everybody watches.
Exactly.
I'm saying 850. Yeah. At the
right,
max.
And so if you scale that up, though, again, if you want to compare it, WWE, well, more people illegally stream WWE than illegally stream AEW, but I'm just saying that sorry. Philly Phil, that's the new one or what, buddy? So anyways, though, man, we're Awful's on Twitter and Brandon Thurston, and we bring this up, and Andrew Zarian and Dose, and how Dose got into it with Zarian and Thurston, but I think Thurston has Dose blocked actually. So look out, Awful, you might get the same treatment. But what happened was basically you took a screenshot and shared, I'm sure, a tweet that you saw from someone else I'm sure. Like everybody shares these. I've never even seen Thurston come out and say this to anybody, but you shared this screen grab of Dynamite's ratings, and I want to break down these ratings with you folks. But first, let's get into, because it's actually quite interesting when you break them down. So we're gonna steal Cornette's bit here, but awful. Do you want to read this, or do you want me to read this in your voice, or what?
I do want to say publicly.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. See if you can pull that one off, Phil.
See if you can pull that one off, Phil. See if you can pull that one off, Phil. I'll get it. Don't worry, you motherfucker. You challenge me, I'll get it.
Listen, I do want to make mention to everybody listening, for the future reference, that third bullet point I have no definitive proof for. That one was given to me about the Modern Family on TBS. So this is breaking news, everybody. That third bullet point may not be correct. I can prove the first one privately, and I can prove the second one, but I cannot prove the third one definitively. But anyway, yes, it says The Big Bang Theory garnered 982,000 viewers with a 0.31 rating among adults 1849. When Dynamite aired, almost 250 said, "Fuck this." AEW's competition, aside from the NHL game, was BET's Sisters that aired at 9 p.m. and got 877,000
Sisters,
viewers.
is that like Sister, or what is that?
It's a Tyler Perry. It's a Tyler Perry show.
Okay.
You know, so yeah. And 1.17 in the 18 to 49 demo, and it placed third in cable, and that's true. Now the third one I'll read, but I can't confirm it. After Dynamite, Modern Family on TBS drew 781,000 viewers with a 0.25 in the key 1849 demographic, the exact same number as AEW. But I do want to say, while that number may not be accurate, it's curious to me that Modern Family did come on after Dynamite, and the number actually did go up. Now, I don't know if that drops immediately after, Modern Family comes on, but I've been told, some people haven't shown me any proof, but I've been told that it ranged within like the 200,000 to 300,000 area. And I'm like, well, how did I can't really see my screen, but yet, like, how did an additional 80,000 people come at the very tail end of Dynamite? You know what I mean? Like, where did they go?
Yeah, and to that too, people talk about like lead-ins, like, bro, do you see what comes on after and before, like Raw and shit? It's trash.
Right.
So I don't want to, whatever. Either way, I like that. So what were you saying is false about the Modern Family part, though? Sorry, that's completely.
I don't have that. That number
yeah.
came to me by rumor when I asked for verification.
Okay.
When I asked for verification. Yeah, it can't be verified.
Right. Okay. So it's here. It doesn't even matter almost. That's almost like a moot point right there anyways, but it does add to your argument, but doesn't take away if it's not true either. But either way though, we have the ratings. I want to break them down with you guys, but then Thurston comes under and goes,
"This motherfucker."
At Brandon Thurston goes, "Hi. I've asked you to not post these images before. Discussing the data, republishing the numbers, making your own chart is fine. Please don't share our image that we create for subscribers. We share them publicly after 7 days. This is the message on every quarter-hour report."
Except the one that I've got shared.
So where did you get yours from? Like I've never seen this ever, and I didn't know that these were for subscribers, and he releases them 7 days later. And I follow Brandon Thurston, but I didn't realize this, and because I see people post these all the time, and it's the ones that everyone shares around. So you responded fucking brilliantly, in all honesty, and we're gonna get to that. But let's read this here. So he, just to give him his fair due, there's a disclaimer here. If you rely on this report and any subsequent reports or social media posts, please credit Wrestlenomics. Please don't republish the chart images themselves. Okay. I mean, like, all right. Okay. Okay, Brandon, right? Like, shut him out. I don't hate Brandon Thurston whatsoever, but I'm not hating on him ever.
Brandon, bro, you could have DM'd me all that shit. Like,
he
tried.
Like, bro,
somebody actually DM'd me. He was just like, oh, he's looking for like new people to get within his range, because things aren't looking so hot on his fucking impressions and engagements. I don't know if that's true or not. Damn. But it does let me. I mean, as you can see, he got a pretty good engagement out of that. You know,
yeah, man. You see it too. You see it a lot that you see the people shifting the way they do content. You see these other little channels popping up and stuff. And yeah, man, it's an interesting time for sure for this whole. It's just funny that I don't know. Shout out Paul Nolan, but reporting on wrestling is just an oxymoron in general. So even breaking down the numbers, like it's silly. You know, it's goddamn wrestling, but ultimately
we
at
talked
the
about
end
that
of the
shit
day,
last week, Phil.
yeah, I know. Yeah, dude. I was gonna say mine and yours clips, dude. I told everyone earlier in the show, like they do great, man. Me and you, awful. Like they just do great. I don't know what it is. People like hearing me and you go back and forth, and you calling me redacted and shit. People love that, man. I love it too. It's great. Makes for a great show. Anyways, though, so you respond to Brandon Thurston. You were just gonna take that, and we'll let you elaborate a little bit more. Okay, you read this here. Read your response to him.
All right. Let's discuss this publicly, since DMing me to discuss it is too much. I post the chart because it's shown to me. What I get doesn't come with a disclaimer or a Surgeon General Thurston's warning. Secondly, I make no allusions to making this chart at all. You'll never find me claiming I made it. If you made it, great work. Fuck good work. Great work. It's informative. Third, in the body of your own fucking chart, there's a gigantic watermark of Wrestlenomics in the background with source credit and your Patreon page. You credit yourself all over it. Nielsen reps haven't come at me yet, by the way. You want me to not post a literal screenshot? My answer is no, and thank you.
Damn, hold on. I didn't even have the lasers ready. Oh man. So
Brandon,
you just
if you're listening, this could have all been worked out. I want to say this publicly as well. I got no problem with Brandon Thurston. I got no problem with Wrestlenomics. But my man, my DMs are open. You could have simply been like, hey man, could you please not share? But then I would have asked why I couldn't share it. And then we probably would have gotten to this kind of discussion privately without having this shit being aired publicly. Now, anybody who knows me knows that my DMs are open. I talk to anybody. I don't necessarily like to, but fuck it, I'll do it. But at the same time, Brandon, the invitation is out to you, my man. We could have worked this out, but you had to go and be an asshole and try to do this bullshit where you're like, and if you notice on the chart itself, there is no please do not republish this thing. He used to have it on there, but on this one he does not. I don't know why, but yeah, he got kind of roasted last time when he did this same shit a few months or a few weeks ago.
What happened? What did he do a few weeks ago?
Brandon Thurston sent the same type of like chastisement to me. I completely ignored it. In fact, he did it twice before, and I completely ignored it because I was just like, is this guy trying to like get me to bite onto something? But I was just like, well, I'm not going to DM him. And for a little bit, for a couple weeks, I didn't really show the Dynamite ratings. In fact, I don't show the Collision ratings. I don't show the Rampage.
I don't ever see you even really post this shit like this. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I do when I can. If somebody gives me the information, I will post it. But if I don't get the information, I'm not going to look for it. That's fucking crazy. I mean, no, I don't. Somebody usually asking, like when I do my ratings video, they're like, hey, what are the quarterly hours? And then like, okay, I'm not going to search for them. But if somebody hands that shit to me through a DM or tells me like, hey, here it is. Hey, man, I'm going to share it. It's got nothing to do with me. And I don't say anything disparaging. Check all my tweets. I say nothing disparaging about Wrestlenomics or Brandon Thurston. I will say it here right now, though. Dude, you're a butthead to put it politely for doing it this way. But this is what has to be done. You made me respond.
Yeah, and like Brandon, are you gonna come at me for showing this on the podcast? You know, like what, like where do we draw the line? I've used them in my thumbnails. I didn't even know this was like a subscriber thing. I just see them everywhere. So
check me out next week because I'm going to be doing it now. See, now I'm going to be searching for it.
Well, it's just like, man, you gotta like know that like it's the fucking internet, bro. People, unless you could put a watermark, he should. Like, isn't there a big logo behind it? Yeah, isn't that
you can
logo?
see it? It's plain as fucking day. Right underneath quarter-hour breakdown, it also gives the source Nielsen, who haven't come at me like, hey, motherfucker.
Yeah, and make this graph and put in big bold letters, like your at handle or whatever. Like, you got to be wary of that. I'll do a lot of these like anime art type pictures. Like I'll make people look like anime and shit. Like not even anime, like weird painting with like big eyes. You guys know what I mean if you follow on the YouTube channel. You see the pictures I post when I make post. It's just like I do it to like practice, and it's just like I just like use filters and play with things and colors and stuff like that. I just use it to practice Photoshop and stuff. And like even that, like I know I don't even put tags on them, but if anybody stole them, I would not get mad at all, because I don't watermark them. I know consciously they go on fucking the internet. Once something's on the internet, it's on the internet. You know what I mean, dude? There's
somebody said in your chat, oh man, it was such a great fucking point. They said, oh yeah. You can't, I thought you can't copyright data. You can't. You cannot copyright data. But what Brandon Thurston is trying to do is he's trying to monetize off of the data, because you have to pay a certain subscription amount to Nielsen to get that sort of data early. Okay, that's cool. But you're charging your subscribers. Yeah, very Meltzer. You're charging subscribers for the work that you did. But if that's the only thing you've got going on, I don't see how your Patreon is going to last too long. What else are you offering?
You're shooting hard, dude.
Well, I'm just being real. I'm asking questions. Hopefully, I'll get some answers. But goddamn, I mean, I'm just sharing a screenshot. I'm not going to share the disclaimer. Thanks for bringing it up, though, Brandon, for showing me. But it doesn't mean a goddamn thing to me. I'm not a subscriber. The people who follow me and who I follow, they send me this information. I send it to the public. I don't want to get charged for it. I'm not trying to charge anybody for it. I only have one monetization point, and that's at the very end of AEW's existence, when I'm trying to fucking sell a book. Other than that, my shit's free.
Man, I better get speaking of free, I better get a free copy of that goddamn book, Awful, and I'll review it on the show. What are you
so you believe
about?
AEW is going to go away? Good, thank you.
Yeah,
awesome. And that's how you do it, folks.
Hey, now that's
called debate. Yeah. But yeah, that's but that's how it goes. But yeah, you'll get a free copy. Hairline, you'll get one too.
Absolutely, man.
And here's the other thing. It will not be. Listen to this, Brandon. It will not be in one of those. I won't be in one of those positions where somebody will be able to steal my book and sell it all for free. You know what I mean? Like it won't be an audio book right off the bat. It's going to be actual paper and print, so that you have to buy it in order to read it.
Oh, man. Awful. I love you, buddy.
I like you guys too.
You give me such great gold content, man. I appreciate it. So Neckbeards pipes in and he posts the picture as well, and he goes, shout out Neckbeards, man. I fucking love this guy. Don't share images that I share publicly on my Twitter feed. Okay, I won't. Gotta give him a heart for that shit, man. I love it. Gotta give you a heart too. I love that. Let's break them down now. Let's look at the ratings and let's actually break down what they were here. So we have 931K. Right? We start there. That's Big Bang. I guess Big Bang's hot again, right?
Right.
So what kicked off the show? Mercedes Mone live promo angle with Sky Blue. Double or Nothing recap. Kill Switch versus Swerve in the Godzilla. Like, did you see how they did the House of the Dragon match? Oh yeah, Luchasaurus wears a dragon mask. Let's have him. He's dressed like a dragon. He can go. It'll be great. I don't know. So we reacted to this live. We watched this Dynamite together. Awful. But basically what happened was a bunch of people tuned in. What made them tune out? Were they all tuning out? Did any of them stick around to watch Mercedes Mone? What did you tweet out? 250K people said, fuck this. So we saw a bit of a spike for, is that Jericho? Or Samoa Joe? They stuff so much into each thing. It's like, what is the difference maker? Like, what made people tune out of Romero versus Moxley and then Orange Cassidy live angle? So I guess people are tuning out for that. then they get an increase. Like, why were the ratings fluctuating like this? Do you have any idea?
Me personally, I think it's because of the offerings that they were given. Mercedes Moné, a live promo. I mean, nobody wants to see that.
So like 200,000 people almost tuned out. Like by the time it was that first commercial break with Kill Switch and Strickland continued, and Moxley being backstage, being real cool with my shades, shooby doo wah wah. Like 200 people dipped out. So, you know, like whose fault is that? Mercedes?
Right. I believe it's Tony Khan's for bad placement of things on the show. Just looking at the lineup he's got here, I don't know what you would put first, really. Whatever your biggest angle is. If that's the Elite and Christopher Daniels, or you know that whole thing, you put
I'm
them.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but like, come on,
man. I mean, you put that in segment 1. If that's your biggest thing, you bookend the show with that. You put Mercedes Moné in the very first segment, hoping that she was going to retain some sort of audience, and it did absolutely nothing for you. Then you put Kill Switch versus Swerve, you know, in that first segment as well. Nah, that's no good. You didn't build Swerve up to be anything.
It's just fucked how they have Swerve just wrestling random matches. Hairline,
he did not say the word. He didn't say the words.
Hairline, you though, like, who do you blame this on? Like, just people tuning out of Big Bang, or are you like, nah, man, we see? Because to me, man, Mercedes ain't it. I'm sorry. In AEW, it just ain't it. She needs that WWE machine to make her look like that big giant star. And we're going to get into it, actually. We'll transition. Apparently, she's difficult to work with in WWE. People are saying, I don't want to shit all over her or nothing like that. But I mean, it just feels like a cheap, phony version of what she was doing in WWE. Your thoughts, Hairline, on like Moné, and just look at that drop off. Pretty bad, man.
So her match with Willow was like one of the worst matches I've ever seen in my life.
We're going to get into that's a big part of this show, what Dave Meltzer had to say. We'll get into that right after this about what Meltzer had to say. We'll give you Meltzer's moment of the week early here tonight, folks. But what Meltzer had to say about fucking that match, Hairline, it spurs off in all this Eric Bischoff shit we got lined up here. Anyways, didn't mean to cut you off, but you think it was that bad of a match? I actually put that match over. I thought it was a solid match, but
no,
let's hear
absolutely not. Okay. Absolutely not. And then so like Sasha here, like, okay, so she's being fed shit by an ex-WWE writer. You know what I'm saying? By ex-WWE guys, that means that person was fired because they weren't worth paying. So like obviously none of this is positive, or
like Jen Pepperman, like the writer. Yeah.
Sasha's not it. You know what I'm saying? She can't do this on her own. I know it's really cringe, you know, and like here's the biggest thing I said about like the whole Willow thing as well. Like WWE, like, or not I'm sorry, you guys. AEW never like gets shit over with me, and then when they do shit like this. Like Willow is like their original talent. You know what I'm saying? Not completely, but like you know what I'm saying. Like she's not from WWE, and then they go and then just fucking have her job to fucking Sasha, dog. And it was like, you guys were finally doing something right, and then you just go and do this. And it's just like, it's all counterproductive.
She should have lost that match.
Yeah, more people seem interested in her and Statlander. Derek Hans, sorry to make you wait, buddy, for $5. Round of applause, and I'll give you a bread. I encourage everyone to check out the interview with Enzo on Nash's podcast. He speaks on what Awful just mentioned about what this show is for. I agree. Check out Enzo. He shows up on OVW all the time. He was on the Legion of Skanks podcast. I don't know if you guys, Big J Okerson and Louis J Gomez, Dave Smith, they do the Legion of Skanks podcast, and he's been on there, and just everything Enzo's got to say. He's just a good dude that I think was largely misunderstood. And yeah, man, I just think that him and Cass should get back together. I think that's an act that I think there's just money being left on the table. Like, they were so over, and they were getting so over as individuals as well. And it just, to me, seems like there's something there, especially with those two guys are still both in shape.
Yeah, but Phil, they both come with stink. Enzo's got stink of a bad reputation, and
so
as
does
you can
Punk.
see,
So does Punk. So does Punk.
His
So
stink
does
was
Mercedes.
isolated. His stink
So
was
does-
relegated to a shitty bathroom, not a shitty house. You know what I mean? Like
God damn, that's a
he
great.
came out of it. He came out of a shitty bathroom.
So that's a great analogy, and to tie it into what we're talking about here. So apparently, so is Mercedes Mone. Mercedes Mone, according to Ringside News, was difficult to work with in WWE. Now, Ringside News, their drama and their whatever you aside. Thank you so much for the super chat, Derek Hans. Round of applause. Their nonsense aside, I'll just read you their article while the picture's pulled up here for you guys. But basically, Mercedes Mone, formerly known as Sasha WWE, established herself as a prominent figure in the wrestling world, etc., etc. Some allege that she was difficult to work with in WWE. She notably walked out in May 22 alongside Naomi. During a recent episode of the Behind the Turnbuckle podcast, former WWE employee Tommy Carlucci and ex-interim Raw general manager Jonathan Coachman addressed the CEO's backstage reputation in the Stanford-based promotion. Carlucci disclosed that he never thought Mone was as great as others believed, claiming she was, quote, difficult to work with. So Tommy Carlucci says, quote, his name's Tommy Carlucci. So that's like one of these guys, Tommy Carlucci, right here. I don't think Mercedes Mone is great at all. So I never thought she was with this whole bag of chips that everybody thought she was here in WWE as Sasha Banks. And she was difficult to work with too. So, damn, he said, okay, he goes on to say, there are certain superstars that over the years act a certain way backstage, and they get a certain reputation, and they can't get rid of that. And Sasha had that. So when you heard some of those numbers that she was asking for, WWE or AEW, I was blown away that either side was even entertaining a deal the magnitude of what she reportedly got. Because I agree with you. She's never been the star that Becky Lynch is, or that Charlotte Flair is, or that Rhea Ripley is. Gabagool. Dude, he went hard as fuck on her there, dude. Damn, I don't know. What do we give him? A round of applause for that, or some air horns? Dude, your guys' thoughts on that? I've always said she is we'll start with hairline on this one, because I know you're all about the horsewomen. Here's the thing, bruv. To me, she's always been my let me think in my noodle here for a sec. She's always been like my number 4 out of the 4 horsewomen personally, but not that like matters. Like, she's still a great, tremendous in-ring worker, and obviously that WWE filter helped her a lot. You know what I mean? Like, that missing oomph that she's missing here in AEW. Your thoughts, hairline, on his comments on Sasha?
Yeah, man, she just doesn't have it anymore. Like,
she's difficult to work with.
Right, yeah, man, and like she's just like not worth the money is what I'm hearing here, and like whatever, just go do Star Wars then, because like it's just like it's such bullshit for Willow, man. Not to go back to that, but it's just like
you're mad about Willow.
Yeah, Doug, they dropped the ball. She was so over.
Awful. What about you, man? Your thoughts on Mercedes?
Well, listen, Mercedes, real quickly, is one of those types where she's going to force the average professional wrestling fan to look back at her matches in WWE and compare them to AEW, and then they're going to look back at the WWE matches. They're going to be like, "Damn, Sasha Banks' opponents were great," because hey, let's look at NXT Takeover for a second. The Bayley, her finest hour, the best match she's ever had, and the best women's match I think I've ever seen, and Bayley and Sasha Banks. Bayley carried that story. Bayley carried that entire match. Look very closely. I'm not lying to you. It's a great match, but you'll see in subsequent matches, Sasha gets exposed. There are things that she forgets.
Right.
There are things that she can't really do. And then at the same time, there are other ladies who are looking waif-like, better looking, and probably more seasoned as athletes that were coming into the fold as well. So her value was starting to come down and come down and go down and go down. And she knew it. And she thought she was going to get a deal elsewhere. That's why I don't feel sorry for her. She's got no hunger anymore. This is where the best wrestle. No, this is where they come to, get on the money train and not bring anybody into the arenas.
Awful. What time is it where you're at?
It is 8:45, and my woman is giving me the
go home signal. Okay,
yeah.
I thought it was because I'm 2 hours behind you, so I was like, oh shit, whatever. Either way, let the good folks know what you got going on, and we'll finish this segment without you, buddy, because you're getting to go home. So just let us know what you got going on, where the good people can find you, and Awful. Again, man. Well, I ask every goddamn. Listen, I'm gonna DM you some shit off pod. We got to talk some business here. We brought Tony Mamaluke here on the show.
Okay.
But like for real, man, I love having you on. You're my goddamn favorite guest. Truly, I'm not even capping on that.
Thanks.
But just let the people know where they can find you and what you got going on.
Yes, I am on a panelist on the esteemed Toonie Talk Wrestling every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on Tooneytown Wrestling. Toon Wrestling. I'm sorry, Marv, but I'm also on Twitter at AEW FUL Wrestling. You can check me out there, and I hope everybody has a good weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. We hope you have a good weekend too. And check out. You can find Awful on the at Pro Wrestle Clips channel. Me and him arguing a bunch, bickering back and forth, and that's and more and awful coming on PWT. I assure you, if I have my way, damn it, Awful.
Hey, chat. Tell them to pay me.
Yeah, you gotta make it worth, bro. Worth the time, bro. Especially for those hot takes, bro.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, buddy. I hope you have a great evening and a good weekend. And I don't know, we'll probably catch up and watch Dynamite on Wednesday or what?
Indeed.
All right,
we'll
man.
see about that.
Okay.
But peace to the chat. Peace to your hairline. Peace, Phil. I'll see you guys later.
Round of applause for everybody. Man, what a great guy coming in and just taking time out of his away from his beautiful yard that he cleaned and his beautiful, lovely home and wife and family to address his little situation with Brandon Thurston for us. That's our guy, chat. Awful. We love Awful here. People get triggered by him because he's writing a book about when AEW dies. It's the long play, really, because if it doesn't die, you know what I mean? Like for 40 years, I don't know. He's in it. He's in it for the long haul, believe it or not. Awful brings eyeballs to AEW, if you will. He's a draw, damn it. But either way, hairline, I have to play you this clip of Mercedes Mone while we're on the topic of Mercedes. She says that AEW really is competition to the WWE. And hairline, look who's speaking to her on TMZ Sports. This is Mojo Rawley. He's the TMZ sports guy. Did you know that?
No, good for him.
Yeah, good for him, man.
AEW is just legit changing the game in wrestling. It's the first competition for WWE in a very, very long time. And as you see, AEW is where the best wrestler. You have me, the greatest of all time, the TBS Women's Champion. You have Will Osprey. You have Kenny Omega, you have Swerve Strickland, you have Willow Nightingale, and I can just go on and on and on. But you have such amazing, incredible talent. And if there wasn't an AEW, where would these people be? Where would I be? So we're so thankful for AEW. AEW.
She just seems like a celebrity who puts on an act in front of the camera, which is nothing new, but it's just weird to. Am I wrong on that, guys? I don't mean you guys know that I never was shitting on her. I was like, no, I was super optimistic if you go back with her coming in AEW, but goddamn hairline, she seems real, just an actress who it's just someone who just puts it on when the cameras are on, and then when they're off, she's like, fuck out of here. You know what I mean? I'm not mad at that. I'm not hating on that. You know what I mean?
Right, get
hairline,
your bag.
Yeah. Get your bag, absolutely, yeah. But yeah, hairline. Your thoughts on AEW being true competition to WWE? Is that cap or what?
Absolutely not. Yeah, it's not in any way like look. Okay, so like they're at like what 6,000 in the key demo now, and they originally like were around 8,000 for how long? So it's just like it's drastically dying, dude.
Yeah, I mean, so speaking of AEW, where it's actually no, sorry, we're on the topic of women's talent. So did you? We talked about NXT earlier, right, Hairline? And you saw Sexy Red. So this is a whole other topic I wanted to bring it to. But Sexy Red, it's announced she's coming in. She posts a video of her singing and dancing to Shawn Michaels' theme music, singing it. She remixed it for her own song and or her mixtape. And she's a Shawn Michaels fan, as were a lot of younger girls, you know what I mean? Like from, for a long couple decades there, probably. So a decade at least, we're Shawn Michaels fans. And so she's a Shawn Michaels fan, an HBK fan, and she's singing his theme. And then all of a sudden he invites her to come on to NXT. She takes him up on that offer. Sexy Red shows up in NXT, opens the show. They got a big spike in the key demo. She's twerking that thing, the hard cam shooting all around her. You know what I mean? Like putting in overtime. Because she just got it. I said I think I tweeted it out, or I said on the show, I was like, she made NXT ratchet in the best way possible. You know what I mean? Like it was hilarious. She was throwing bees up on NXT TV. She was throwing bees in pictures of Shawn Michaels, like just crazy, just hilarious. And so she did her thing with Trick and all of that. Okay, the whole show, Booker T was losing his goddamn mind.
Marking out.
Bro, I don't care what anyone says, man. Booker T is gold on commentary. Like, if you're gonna sit there and tell me Book and Vic aren't two of the best, like together, they're like one of the best fandoms,
right?
Dude, and Vic is so like he's such the straight guy.
Right.
That's the term we use in the biz, folks. He's such the straight guy that Book just it like it reels him in. Like its Book can be so outlandish and mark out so hard about certain things. Because Vic he's just that perfect position. Like I don't like if Book was there with Michael Cole, I don't think it would work as good, or whoever else, right? Like Corey Graves, it wouldn't work as good. Like it's because Vic plays that straight guy just so well. And not that like, let's say Graves is in the middle. He's impressing me. Cole can play the straight guy, but it's Michael Cole, but yeah, man, just Vic and Book are unreal. And Book was just marking out the segment where she introduced the belt, and at the end she's there. This is all I'm gonna say is, and then Ethan Page shows up, is that fucking NXT is gonna beat AEW in the ratings on CW, and the main event's gonna be like Lexus King versus Ricky Starks or some shit. And that's what's gonna happen, and it's gonna be hilarious. They're gonna beat AEW in the ratings on CW, where Tony Khan turned down a deal for Ring of Honor with AEW guys. But Booker T says that he wants to see Lola Vice and Sexy Red have a twerk off on NXT, daddy. And he says, yeah, I could see a dance off, dog, coming between Sexy and Lola. I'm serious, man. Do it now. Nah, man, ain't no infringement when it comes to twerking. You just got to let it go. Lola Vice, she's a damn good entertainer. She's a damn good performer. She is. And so Lola, if you ain't seen too, she's been shaking that thing. Now, you can look up videos of her. She'll knock a bitch out in Bellator and shake that thing. She's a real shooter too. That's what's great about Lola Vice. So she's gonna have an NXT Underground match at Battleground.
Should be sick.
And Sexy Red's gonna host Battleground. Hairline, your thoughts on Sexy Red and the WWE and an NXT, and then Battleground's coming up. What do you think about all that?
I don't know, man. I think she's super ratchet, and it isn't exactly my thing. But the whole point of this is like, since like back in the day, the whole reason they booked, what was it like? Who was the original guest of like the first WrestleMania? Damn it, I'm sorry, drugs.
What is the what, sir?
The very first WrestleMania, the musical guest.
It was Cyndi Lauper.
And Frank Sinatra was there too, or something, right? Or no?
No, not Sinatra.
Some yeah, I'm sorry, you guys drugs. Anyways, the whole point of this is that it brings in a I've been smoking sativa and I don't usually smoke sativa.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway, so
in Minecraft.
in Minecraft, yes. Anyway, so like Sexy Red isn't my thing. You know what I'm saying? I think it's not exactly that good of music, But she brings in a new key demo, and it's just like it makes NXT look cool to people that normally don't watch NXT, So that is a overall positive because I am cheering for the WWE machine to just eat it all.
How did you feel about her on camera though? Like it seemed like in her promo,
Yeah.
she knew how to act good. She knew where to be, even managing. She knew when to be there. She knew when to sell, like, oh shit, or like, yes, more. Like she, like she was cheering her guys on. She was laying back when they were getting beat up. Like I felt like she just is a fan of wrestling. She watches wrestling and understands what the fuck is going on here, is what I took away from her performance. Sorry, John JT, I'll get to your chat here in a second.
In the opening segment, I thought, man, it's awful when Pebbles is the most charismatic person on the microphone. So,
oh, man. It's crazy. You call her Pebbles. Marv got like fucking, they tried to cancel him for arguing with Pebbles.
But yeah, anyways, man, I shouldn't be stealing people's jokes. That'd be pretty fucking fucked up. Anyways, so the whole thing here between the whole Pebbles thing and whatnot. So the second segment following it, like you were saying, when she came out with Trick, I feel like she did much better there. Like what you said there, she's a fan, and we can see that and whatnot. But I guess, man, like if this is getting the hood to tune into NXT, then I'm all for it, Doug.
Well, here we have a super chat. She doesn't sound or feel believable talking right now, and you believe, and that was in regards to Mercedes Mone. Sorry, John, I didn't see. We were in a good discussion there, bud, and I didn't see it. But John JID, thank you so much for the super chat. And yeah, she does not feel believable, man. Whereas Sexy Red, I don't know, compare her to Monet, I guess. Monet's at least seasoned and a vet. Sexy Red was pretty believable, but they just had a good filter. The WWE filter is a great filter. I'm just trying to tie it all together, folks. Okay. If you guys can't see what I'm doing here, thank you so much, John JID. You're the shit, and I'm going to give you a We're going to give you a Conan. We're going to give you Conan. So I'm all over the place, hairline. So yeah, man, we were just talking about Michael Cole. So today, or this month, pardon me, marks the 27 years since Michael Cole first appeared on screen. The past 27 years, Cole's delivered commentary with everyone from Gorilla Monsoon all the way to Corey Graves and Pat McAfee. Thanks, Michael Cole. Here's another little cool video of Luke Littler.
What?
He exactly. He is a pro darts. This is the darts masters at MSG. Or pardon me, yes, at MSG. And he came out with Cody Rhodes' music at the darts finals, world championships. I don't know what you call it. But we're going to play it.
The Bahrain Dance Masters, an Austrian and Belgian Dance Open champion, the Junior and World Youth champion.
He's signing autographs like Randy Orton and shit. About to play darts.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Luke the Nuke.
Luke the Nuke. Look, dude, he's got bitches. Let's go.
Let's go.
Oh, man. Yo, Luke the Nuke. Let's go, dude. He's got girls. He's got security and everything, dude.
Yeah, Virgil's fucking got his back.
Yo, they love this dude. And he comes out to fucking Kingdom, dude. How goated is WWE right now, man?
Well, she had the jacket. To the walls.
He did it! Let's go! Wrestling is back. Pro wrestling's back. Let's go.
Good. What a mark. Got a little Cody stars.
Oh man,
Cody
I
Skulls on
love
the
that,
fucking
man. Shout out
red
Luke
shirt.
Littler. I hope he won. If he didn't win, that would fucking suck.
He did.
But...
Yeah, dude. No, he had Cody powers.
Oh man, I love that. Here's a funny meme I saw. Netflix to WWE, WBD to AEW.
And he's right.
Oh man, just change and shit. Like,
It's change.
yeah, dude, it's like nickel and diming. It's funny because it's true, man. So we're talking about like collisions on tonight, and we're talking about like AEW and superstars and people leaving and switching and contracts and blah 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 blah, right? At least I think we are. so Swerve Strickland says he believes now is the best time for AEW and WWE to cross over. Well, Hairline, a lot of people are giving him shit and saying, dude, Swerve, you shit on WWE and snitched to AEW about like contract tampering when all they did was contact him to bring all of Hit Row back. But he was like, nah, talk to my agent. And like, he signed with AEW already, Like, remember when WWE fired Hit Row and brought them all back, Airline?
Yeah, I remember all that. Tony was all like, my mom's in the hospital. How dare you?
Okay, hey, come on. Okay, but Swerve, now, though, he's had a mediocre run as champ. I mean, we don't expect it all right away, but they're not doing any character work. There's no, like... There's nothing here with his title run. It's not even on him. It's the bad creative. Like, he's trying his ass off. Everyone's trying.
Christian was okay.
Yeah, so they're just, he's having fucking House of the Dragon matches and fighting Nick Wayne and just not getting over, man. That
was awful.
And he's just a glaringly obvious transitional champion for Will Osprey. That's all it is, man. And we know that. And it's just it's such a shame that they've done Swerve so bad, in my opinion. And I think he should be in WWE. I think it's just a goddamn shame he didn't come back when they brought Hit Row back all the way, because Swerve would have really shone then. But either way, we don't have time machines. We can't go back. And I'm not even shitting on him now. I put him over all the time. They say he's too small. He bulks up. They say stop slapping the leg. He stops slapping the leg. He starts stomping people with cinder blocks and shit. But he, you know what I mean? He starts doing other crazy things, drinking blood and shit. But he goes out there, man. He tries. He does his goddamn thing. He's doing his best. He does good mic work. He's a good worker. All of et cetera, et cetera. I put him over all the time.
That's great.
But this run, man, creatively, just nothing. Abhorrent. One of the worst. How is this how you book your world champion? They're putting more thought into Mox, who's the New Japan champ. They just don't care.
Yep.
Tony does not care about his own product, even, it feels like. And Swerve now, after people are saying, like it's lackluster. Now Swerve saying, hey man, there's no better time for AEW and WWE to cross over. So you can fight Cody, or you can fight fucking who? Damian Priest, maybe. I'd see that, but it's just like we can't sit here and now is not the time. You know what I mean, dude? Now's not the time because AEW is on such a lull. Now they have been getting a bit of like some better houses, man, like 6,000, and like there's some WWE shows that are doing like 6,000 and stuff. Now, provided AEW, we never talk about, we go, oh, they got 4,000 at this bill, but we never talk about like, yeah, but WWE does house shows. Like they do 4 of those littler shows a week. And then they do like their TV shows that are like 12,000 fucking people. You know what I mean? So like 10,000 plus. So there is absolute levels. Like AEW has no house show circuit. That's why they're not growing. I truly believe that, because you can't, dude, think about a circus that doesn't go on the road. That doesn't work. Wrestling's carny circus shit, and you know what I mean? Like he's on, like they don't go on the road. So either way though, Swerve though, man, he thinks it's the best time for a WWE AEW crossover. And people are just going, dude, you shit on WWE and you snitched them out for contract tampering. They caught heat, and now you want a crossover. To me, I don't think it's. I just think it's because that's Tony's ultimate dream, Tony Khan's ultimate dream. Because this isn't the only AEW guy who's been like. Because Tony said it too. Oh yeah, like I'd be open to a WWE AEW crossover.
Oh yeah, old asshole.
Yeah, but I think that Swerve is throwing it out there because of that. But yeah, people are sort of pointing out the hypocrisy. I don't know, Hairline, just your thoughts on that.
So he's right, but that doesn't. All the other things are also correct. Like he did do all that shady shit, and he was acting like a fucking Indian giver, But his statement is, however, true. Any time for AEW crossing over with WWE would be a positive for AEW.
Yes, well, for AEW, but not WWE. What does WWE benefit by crossing over with AEW? Did you call him an Indian giver? I'm native, by the way, folks. But like, God damn it, dude!
Well, yeah, it's okay.
In the chat, someone goes, "Tony Khan hates black guys." We're just fucking. This is the race PWT race show. Let's because he's black. Yeah, Tony's a race chat, dude. Come on, so it's okay. We're all chilling. Everyone's chilling. But no, dude, Hairline, so you agree with those folks? I just didn't take it that way, really. I just thought that he had to just put out Tony's messaging. That's how I feel these wrestlers sort of act or react, as they sort of put out Tony's messaging for him. You know what I mean? Because that's what Tony wants. He wants a collaboration with WWE. It's so glaringly obvious. Wrestlers here who left AEW, speaking of which, former AEW star Frankie Kazarian. So I said this and conspiracy theorized this a long time ago, but he's burying not burying AEW, but Kazarian's like, yeah, dude, I don't know. He expressed frustrations. He told Busted Open Radio that the company's lack of leadership and proper creative direction, and he described it as inmates running the asylum. And I told you guys that, and I thought, and like you see, Daniels is all uptight and close, and I said, and then you saw how Scorpio sort of got just buried and disappeared. I know he got hurt, but like they kind of just put him away, tucked him in the back, again, and it's like, I felt like there was a rift there in the SCU boys. Maybe I'm right. I don't know. But Kazarian, though, I did say this. I was like, the Kazarian for real thinks it's a shit show. I know it was sort of a bit of his TNA gimmick where he's like, yeah, I was being underutilized. Other guys would come in. And I was like, that could be kayfabe, but I think it's real. And yeah, it seems as though it was real. So shout out Busted Open and shout out Frankie Kazarian. But I don't know. I was right, dude.
He could have helped the younger guys as far as like quick example here off the dome. The four pillars, you know what I'm saying? They could all have benefited by bouncing ideas off of Frankie here, but as you can see, he felt underutilized. So that's where we're at.
Yeah, that is where we're at, man. And so, man, there was another I don't want to get to Dave quite yet because I got Tony Khan. I got a lot of Tony TK stuff to get to tonight, guys. But there's just other little thises and that's. So no, that's Dave as well. Will Osprey. So at AEW Disciplinary Committee, Will Osprey, we talked about it on the last show. He doesn't shut the fuck up about. He's like, I'm not going to talk about WWE, bruv. I'm not going to talk about it.
Oh, okay.
And then he starts bringing up Ricochet and how WWE didn't appreciate him. And then he starts talking about how, well, he liked Triple H and admired him, so it felt fucked. And then he's cutting promos about it. And then he comes out here and then this is his quote, and shout out Disciplinary Committee, who tweeted this. He goes, oh, bruv, I hate the tribalism just because it's like, it makes wrestling so much more difficult for everybody else. If we all just sat down and enjoyed wrestling, it's like, if you don't enjoy AEW, that's absolutely fine. I don't have a good one of Osprey yet. Your opinion is wrong. So basically he's going, dude, if you don't enjoy AEW, that's fine. Your opinion's wrong. But all in all, man, I just want people to enjoy wrestling. I enjoy every little bit of it. But if you don't like AEW, you're wrong. And I hate tribalism, but you're wrong if you don't. I don't know. I just wish everybody could do this as well. Could do this tribalist thing I'm doing is basically what I get from this. And this is just weird. And he keeps bringing up AEW. Like he keeps doing it.
WWE.
So, I mean, pardon me, WWE. Yeah, I misspoke. Sorry. He keeps bringing up WWE and Triple H and going tribalism. And he's like, I'm not going to do that, bro. I'm just going to move on. Then he keeps bringing the shit up and going, if you don't like AEW, I mean, you're wrong. And then he just says some tribalist shit. And it's like, no, you're not wrong. You cannot like WWE and be right. You don't have to act like WWE Real One on X. You can do whatever you want, but it's like, stop bringing them the fuck up. If AEW's the shit, show us they're the shit. Draw the biggest houses, do the best TV, tell the best stories, have the best matches, which involves all of those other components I just said, like telling good stories is how you get to great matches. But Osprey needs to get there. And yeah, he's not doing that. They are not doing that. This gauntlet match was cool, but it didn't really make sense in kayfabe or whatever. So in my opinion, bruv, again, I said it last week. I'll say it again. Stop bringing this shit up. Just, it's like Bischoff said years ago, shut up and wrestle. You know what I mean? Hairline, your thoughts, man. Osprey just won't stop bringing up the tribalism in WWE.
Again, it's just like, it's like I was saying, it's job security shit. These guys do this shit to fucking, because it pleases Tony and it pops Tony, you know? That's all it comes back to, man. And like, he's just fucking up his own future. Not that fucking Triple H wouldn't do what's best for business, but like, okay, here's the thing. By the time Will Ospreay is a free agent and ready to go to WWE and shit, his body's gonna be all wrecked from the way he wrestles and shit. So
he signed for like 8 years, dude. He ain't go. I don't think he'll ever
What
go
a
to
dummy.
WWE. And then speaking of signings, the Buffalo Bills chat. Any Buffalo Bills fans in the chat? They signed Gable Steveson, dude. So people were like, he's gonna make a run at the. They're like, he's gonna make a run at the Olympics. They just signed him from WWE to the Bills to be, I think, a defensive tackle. Your thoughts on that? Like, that's random and crazy, and he probably just got a big bag to do this for a season or two, right? Like,
yeah, I don't know. I really don't give a shit about football other than like college football because like it's entertaining because the guys are really hungry and shit.
okay. Well, yeah, I don't know. Just weird. He went from WWE to.
Oh yeah, good for him.
Yeah,
that's
I guess. But
dog.
people hate him because like they're like, oh
Why?
hell no. Well, because he
Right.
has like accusations, and they like changed the whole law after his case, I guess, where
What did he do?
it was some drunk girl situation, like one of these I don't know if you want to call it Me Too or speaking out movement, whichever, right?
Yeah.
Like yeah, so it's one of those, but apparently his was pretty serious, and that's why people really shitted on him being in the WWE. And I don't know, like he was they said he was innocent, but apparently they changed, like they said he was innocent, then like made like a new law for like after, like right after his shit, and they were like protecting him is what people claim. I don't know. That's I'll put this out here because I ain't looked into it.
The truth is out there.
Yeah, it's definitely out there, but either way, that's why there's controversy surrounding this as well. And people thought he was going to go to the Olympics from WWE, but he's like, no, I'm going to go get like however much. They're probably paying him like up $2 million or some shit. I don't know NFL's contracts, but they're just paying him couple years to be on the team, whatever. I don't know. I thought that was crazy. And then also Jake Paul and Mike Tyson has been postponed. So I don't know.
Why?
Because Mike Tyson's he's a 60-year-old man, dude, or however old he is. Like, it's just, this fight shouldn't even happen. It's weird to me. But they're postponing it because, Mike, medical professionals on his recent ulcer flare-up. So Mike Tyson has an ulcer flare-up, and he's going to get to be at a full training camp in the coming weeks, and they're going to fight. They're going to make an announcement by next Friday when they're going to actually fight on Netflix Live. So I don't know. Mike Tyson just shouldn't be fighting.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's going to be like fucking Edge jumping off a cage.
Yeah. You did such a good job of bringing that back. Hairline, how much more time do I got with you, my friend, tonight? Like, how much more time?
Yeah, I gotta hop off of here, man.
Okay, Hairline has got to skate, my friend. See where? Okay, bro. So Hairline.
Let's do this Tony one, and then I'll take off.
Okay, so so well, that's actually Meltzer here. I'm gonna circle into all that, guys. Don't worry, it's coming. No, wait though. We're polishing flutes. But there is some Tony Khan discussion, right? So, but first though, here I have one more for you. Let me give you one more before you get out of here. Goldberg,
like Kid Rock.
Goldberg refers to Bret Hart as, quote, the moron I kicked in the head, whilst discussing his in-ring style. So the Von Erich, like that's crazy. All this time later. So the Von Erichs have a podcast, like the young ones, and good, exactly.
Check it out.
Shout out the Von Erichs, man. And Goldberg's on there, of course, because the Von Erichs got pulled, dude. They got clout, as Larry King would say. So Goldberg refers to Bret Hart as the moron I kicked in the head. And Goldberg says 9 times out of 10, you had to really question whether I was hurting the guy or not. That's the fine line you got to walk. Oh, come on, Bill. Granted, unfortunately, a couple times Steiner. I'm not even going to mention his name. The moron I kicked in the head. Unfortunately, things like that happen. It's a rough business. As long as there's no malicious intent. Hey, bro, you're in the wrong business if you bitch and moan about getting slapped or getting punched errantly. It's just a different day and age, man. It really is. So who's the moron he kicked in the head? It's obviously Bret Hart, dude.
Jesus on behalf of Canada, how do you feel?
Oh my god, dude! On behalf of Canada, Goldberg can go screw. But for real, like Jesus, like they're still just both mad at each other. It's so fucking funny. I've seen like conspiracy theory videos where people are like, "Nah, Bret Hart rocked himself going for the figure 4 around the ring post," which maybe we could break that down or something. But I don't know, man. Your thoughts on Goldberg?
We should do that on Patreon.
Yeah, dude, so we don't get copyright stricken. But what are your thoughts on Goldberg and Bret Hart here, bro?
Fucking book it.
Book it. Yeah, Tony Khan, book it. John JID for $2 says Claudio versus Morrison is the only worth it match right now. Yeah, I'm not even watching. I'm watching UFC 302. We have a great match. Almeida's about to fight. I think he only has 2 losses. Yeah, this is a good shit. And Derek Hans for $5 says, bro, Logan is fighting Jake now. I wonder if WWE will sign off on that. Wait a minute. That's not true. Is Logan Paul versus Jake Paul? That's not true.
Be okay.
I think Logan posted like I'll step in, but I don't think they're actually that's actually a thing. But round of applause for both of you and John JID as well. All right, I know we took a minute. We're just into the convos, the good convos. Thank you, John, and thank you, Derek Hans. Derek Hans, though, I don't think they're actually going to fight. I think Logan was like, yeah, I'll throw my name in the ring. But are they going to fight? Like, to me, that's the final bout between them both. It's like, that's how you end the movie of them, is you like have Jake and Logan Paul fight each other as each other's last fights ever. And then it's like that movie Warrior. Hairline, what do you think about Jake Paul and Logan Paul eventually boxing each other, or if he does step in to replace Mike Tyson?
Kayfabe is what's going on here. I think they're going to face each other in WWE. Is what's going to happen. Not paper. Because, here's the biggest problem. The whole reason that Paul is fighting Mike Tyson is because Paul himself cannot draw pay-per-view views. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that means the Logan brothers versus each other. I'm sorry.
The Logan brothers. No, but for real. Most people don't fucking know. Most people are like, who is that? You know?
Anyway,
like Eric Bischoff went on a rant about he watched the Jake Paul documentary. He thought it was Logan Paul the whole time. You know, like people don't know. They're interchangeable.
Anyways, the Paul brothers won't draw. You know what I'm saying? But if they've wrestled each other on Peacock, that's going to draw regardless. So that's where we're going to see that match.
Man, thank you so much for the super chat. And Hairline, thank you so much for being here tonight with me, man. I really appreciate that, dude. It's good rocking with you. And
I'll hit you up tomorrow, Doug.
Yeah, do it up and let's record a PWT pod. I got Awful coming on. I got Marv coming on. I fucking just fucking DM me, man. It was good kicking it with you, and I appreciate you being here. Hairline, tell the PWT listeners, give them a little message on the way out. What do you got to tell them? What do you got to pitch them?
So after this, you guys are done listening to this live broadcast, head over to YouTube and type in Aaron Romero and then Aaron Romero, the Quick, the Lucky, and the Dead, and give that shit a view and give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think. I'd really appreciate it. Well, outside of that, man, hell yeah, man. I'm looking forward to fucking recording some fucking shows. Like, it sucks. It's hard for me to hit these live shows, guys. So, I'm excited to do a fucking recorded one.
No doubt. And we might have a Hairline show coming too, where when you can just record into your phone on the road and shit. And because like if you're on the road, you just talk into your phone, you know what I mean? Like whatever. You just do and then fucking he just dude just okay. He just Bray Wyatted Uncle Howdy'd us. So he just Uncle Howdy'd us there. Oh my goodness. Guys, the truth is out there. Let me hit an X. So guys, Tony Khan, right? Like we're polishing our flutes, you know what I mean? Like there's a man named Meltzer who's, pops his weaselly head around these parts every now and again. And good night. Died on the way back. Stay black, Hairline. Yeah, dude. Good night, Hairline. Dude, it's he might have his own because he watches like a lot of like GC dub and deathmatch shit. And I know some people might be like, that's garbage, but like, nah, dude, people like that stuff. And there's I want Hairline when he's on the road and shit. He could be just chatting into his phone and setting up. But he died on the way back to on his way to the Upside Down. That's why we tell you it's the Upside Down. No, that was awesome though. That was great and Awful piping in too to come in with Brandon Thurston. Like you guys, that's why that's why the show's the best, man. I want to play this. I wanted to play it last show. Tony Khan was on the Rich Eisen show. Shout out Rich Eisen. Tony Khan stopped by ahead of Dynamite in Los Angeles to talk about getting a TK driver wearing the neck brace in the war room and why it'll be forever in our studios. So he left the neck brace in their studio, I guess. I don't know. Hairline is Poochie. McDavid is getting a cup, dude. That's happening. Outlaw Mud shows, yeah. But we be expanding, dude. We be expanding. So yeah, dude, Tony Khan's on the Rich Eisen show, and he had this to say, and he made a contribution to St. Jude. It's 7 minutes long. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play this, and we're gonna react to it. And it's on the Roku channel. Shout out Roku channel. I believe they
freedom of movement is back.
Yeah. No, it was Tubi or Roku. They had like a Diddy doc already with TMZ. Either way, though, man, he's talking in kayfabe, I guess, about wearing the neck brace and taking the TK driver, and he makes a contribution to St. Jude's. So we're gonna shout that out, Children's Hospital, St. Jude's Children's Hospital. We're gonna shout that out. We're not gonna hate on that, but we're gonna laugh at just the mannerisms. I want you to pay attention to just even his face right now. Like he can't be normal just talking to Rich Eisen, and it's on Roku. So I mentioned that before, but like, goddamn, Tony, just act chill. You know what I mean? This isn't like fucking, you're not sitting there like speaking with the president. Just relax. But yeah, dude, just pay attention to TK, the inflections. Those are the things I'm looking at. But yeah, great charitable contribution. Shout out St. Jude's. but we're here to laugh at Tony Khan, that aside, right? So hey, I'm just putting it out there, right? And so there's a couple little funny nuggets in here, but let's play like a minute or two of this. Hopefully we don't get Don Stevens.
Your neck brace is off.
Yes.
Your freedom of movement is back, correct?
Yes. My freedom of movement is back. And as I was just saying on Roku, to bring it into the radio audience,
Yes, sir.
I'm very grateful to you because you helped bring my recovery and the fact that I was in the neck brace into the public consciousness. And, for those who don't know, I run a wrestling league called AEW.
Yes.
We're on TBS and TNT.
I mean, how much longer are they on TBS/TNT? Just kidding. But it's funny how this guy, Rich Eisen, just starts laughing. He's like, for those who don't know. Yeah, and he just starts laughing like it's just some joke. And like, I want wrestling to be more serious again, but it ain't serious. But I'm not shitting on like his donations or contribution. I would never do that.
Consciousness
And guys, hit that like button. What are you doing? We're at 60 likes, I think. Get us up to 100. There's been like 100 to 30 of you in here or whatever.
For those who don't know, I run a wrestling league called AEW.
Yes.
We're on TBS and TNT every week. We've got a show tonight on TBS, Wednesday night Dynamite.
Yes.
I know a lot of people don't watch wrestling, but for those people who do, to be in the NFL draft and have somebody of your stature, Rich, mention.
Well, I was concerned for your welfare. You're sitting there in a neck brace. I've never seen an executive wearing a neck brace in the draft room. I mean, you are the chief football strategy officer of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I've not seen anybody in a draft room in a neck brace before.
This is like
oh yeah, I did the first, and it's the safest wrestling company. But let me do an angle and say on TV that I feared for my life, and then do an angle that where I broke my neck and I'm getting assaulted by coworkers.
Our Andy Kaufman moment, Rich.
Don't ever compare yourself to Andy Kaufman.
So what were you doing, Tony? What the heck were you doing in the ring? What were you doing?
Well, so what happened is Jack Perry, he started in AEW 5 years ago on our first show. His name is Jungle Boy. He's Hollywood royalty. He's the son of the late, great Luke Perry.
Yes, indeed.
And Jack Perry's been with us since he was very
90210. I love that show.
Young, and I've always had a great relationship.
He played Dylan. Is that correct? I think that's correct too.
Relationship with Jack. And there was a backstage incident. Jack went away for a while, almost on loan to New Japan Pro Wrestling. We worked it out. He had a visa. He was away from AEW. He did a great tour and really.
He keeps looking at the camera like, Tony, you're talking to him. Talk like a human would have a conversation. Look him in the face. Stop looking at the camera.
Reestablish himself. I was excited to reinstate Jack into AEW. And the night before the draft, we met in the ring. I offered Jack his spot back. We shook hands. It was a great moment, or so I thought. Then he punched me with a microphone in the stomach, and Matt and Nick, the Young Bucks, the AEW.
He punched me with a microphone in the stomach, and I was like, wow.
World Tag Team Champions, who famously wrestled Sting in his last ever match. They were really with us from the beginning of AEW. They've been great friends of mine to this point. They helped me up, I thought, only to give me a spike pile driver. They'd renamed it the Tony Khan driver, the TK driver. I should have seen it coming. It had my name written all over it.
Yeah.
Guys, oh my god, dude, he's so happy and proud of himself. I can't hate on this man's happiness, I guess.
Yeah. And
then what happened?
Well, I was taken to the back. I was evaluated, and then they told me, you're injured. You need to stay in Jacksonville. And these guys just ran wild on AEW. I was trying to maintain order from Jacksonville remotely while I worked. And of course, with the NFL draft, thankfully, I was able to work on the NFL draft. We had a show live in Jacksonville on Saturday right after the draft. So NFL Films was following me around in the neck brace while I ran back and forth from like a speed dating episode or like the Boy Meets World episode where Corey is both with.
Oh yeah, Topanga. It's great. It's Sean Hunter. Boy Meets World. Oh yeah, I love that episode when the teacher tries to bang Topanga and Corey pushes him through a window. It was great. I love when people fly through glass. I think Darby Allin could play Corey. Yeah, Jungle Boy and Anna Jay. It's like Corey and Topanga. If they're smart, that's what they do, though. It would be like Jungle Boy and Topanga. No, it would be like 90210, but Jungle Boy's like slapping Anna Jay in the ass and stuff. I've said it a million times. This is so dumb hearing him talk about it on a show non-involved with wrestling. Exactly. Him explaining AEW. It's what Alfred Konua pointed out. How do you explain this to regular people? The way he delivers these contrived scripted lines is just sad. It's so funny.
With the wrestling show and trying to date Topanga. And it was like that.
Yeah, Vader, he's my favorite, especially when he wrestled Will Osprey.
And I was like, doing the undrafted free agency and going back and forth with AEW Collision, which was live after NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
Of course, like one of those crazy things. Of course, it was the first time in AEW history they asked us to go on early because the Celtics Heat game was a blowout and they asked us to start 10 minutes early. So that was, of all the days, draft Saturday while I'm doing undrafted free agency, I had to run back over to Daly's place, start the show. It was
no way he referenced Boy Meets World. OMG, dude. Yes. He did, man.
Conan.
He's so cute, dude. I tell you guys, he's so adorable. He just watches Disney Channel and shit. You know what I mean, dude? I love that show, Boy Meets World. I loved it, rather, when I was younger. I grew up watching it, It's hilarious. This guy's so hilarious. And yeah, he brings up the wrestling episode of Boy Meets World. I mean, I'm a mark. I remember it. Remember, like, the bully? Who played the bully? Was his name Ethan Suplee? I think it was the name of the actor. And then Vader played his father, right? And so he like cameoed like a handful of times, and that's what Tony's talking about. I think it's adorable. Thank you so much for the super chat. But yeah, dude, he just did. Oh, Topanga, Sean Hunter. Yeah, I'll adopt you, Sean. Don't worry.
It was something, and NFL Films shot the whole thing.
When are we seeing the contents of that?
Hopefully soon. I think they're putting together something. Last year, great chance to plug our friends here at Roku.
Sure. The pick is in.
The whole pick is in, my friend. Yes.
Right.
This is synergy. Last year, Roku filmed what I believe is their biggest documentary ever, which was the pick is.
Tony is looking at the camera. Dude, look at the host and talk to the host. Oh, my God.
It was the 2023 NFL draft following around the Cowboys, the Panthers, the Colts, and the Jaguars.
Right.
And they were with us throughout the draft. And then, coming out of the pick is in, they actually, the post-credit scene is I signed a player in undrafted.
Oh, the post-credit scene of Time Cop. Beast was at the end of it. Or was that Miss Marvel? I don't remember, but they're all great. Disney's great. Haha. Here, we'll jump ahead a bit here. I mean, this is just hilarious. Oh, it's going to Twitter load on me. You guys get the gist of it. He makes a contribution, though, to St. Jude's, and a round of applause for him of that. But it's just, he's so awkward, right? Like people would say, for instance, about the UFC, right? Like the people who put the money into it were the Fertitta brothers, and then Dana White was the guy who went out in front of the people and talked shit and was like, yeah, I'm the face of this. He didn't put any of the money into it or whatever. That was the Fertittas. Tony needs that. He needs a guy who's like, I'm the Triple H, or like I got awful messaging me over here. He needs a face of the company who can go out and speak for him on behalf of him. Tony Khan is not the guy to be representing it, especially in these real world scenarios like the NFL. Here, Awful's messaging me some hilarious shit, but guys, how great of an appearance was that? And Awful, man, that's what I mean. These guys, these Thurstons and these guys, they all listen. Like Meltzer listens. He knows I do dumb moment of the week and shit like that. It happens. Speaking of which, we're about to get there, guys. So make sure your flutes are getting polished. And UFC 302 is going on. Make sure you hit that like button before we hit that flute and do Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week. I want to see those likes go up, Daddy. Yeah. And I just appreciate you all so much for rocking with me. There's been like 120 to almost 150 of you throughout the evening, and it would be so awesome if you hit that like button, especially because YouTube loves to limit ads and all this sort of shit with me now that the channel's getting bigger. And hey, that's part of the game. And that's why I was like, I got to revamp that Patreon, Daddy. And I appreciate you all so much for just rocking with me. But that like, that subscribe button, hell, even leave a dislike if you want. Tell me you don't like it, but just go and click something down there, and I would appreciate that so much. So yeah, this is Twitter loading on me. I was going to play the last minute. You guys get the gist. Moving along here. So people are here. I think Meltzer has his thoughts on, because people are upset about Swerve. We talked about it before. I do have more Tony Khan, but people are upset about Swerve, you know. Is he going to lose to Osprey? You weigh up both choices. I think he's going to retain it over some fuckery. But again, bad booking. Tony's not the guy who should be representing AEW. And Tony Khan addresses Becky Lynch's contract situation if AEW is interested in signing her. And we covered on the last show, speaking of Awful, before with Awful, about how like that's their big play is like we're going to bring in free agents and we just want to bring in unsigned talent and other names from WWE and stuff. Plenty in pixel art for $10. Oh my goodness. Thank you. He's not a bad guy. He just sucks at running a promotion. I feel bad knocking him so much, but he's earned it at this point. Yeah, and especially like he came out and said like, "Oh, you're a bald assholes" and all of that stuff. About Triple H and HBK, and that doesn't bode well. And then when you come out and tote the numbers, but then you have people trying to tell us the numbers don't matter, but then they, you know, we've covered it so much at this show, and exactly, Tony Khan sort of made his own bed with this stuff, and just like the way all the wrestlers came out too, and people who never wrestled in WWE were shitting on WWE, and then people who were saying like, oh, we're gonna beat them in the ratings right away, like Jericho was like, we're gonna beat them in the ratings and shit. That all just sort of backfired in everyone's faces, and that's why you got to kind of chill. You can't talk too much shit. You got to just make things happen. That's the main way to get things done. I'm telling you, you hold your cards close. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. It just seems like Tony loves to spill to the certain subsection of dirt sheets while others struggle for stories and coverage and all of that sort of thing. Thank you so much, though, for the super chat. Round of applause. Give me a pixel art. But Tony Khan addresses, speaking of free agents, etc., he addresses Becky Lynch's contract situation and if AEW is interested in signing her. And we covered it on the last show, man. She ain't going nowhere. But Tony Khan says, I don't want to try to tamper and do those things. He always brings up tampering. That's what I mean. It's like weird Mark Insider terms. Like he's always bringing up tampering. Like that's on his mind. That's why he's bringing that up. He's always bringing up bots because that's what's on his mind. Do you know what I mean? Someone says Mark Henry just popped up in MLW. Good for Mark Henry. I'm actually happy for that. And thank you so much for being here in the chat. But yeah, man, Tony Khan go in the same interview. He goes, I try to keep it classy and have a reputation for honesty, and I really want to be a fair businessman. Were you honest, Tony, when you said you feared for your life? Because you weren't honest. The wrestling business is a real cutthroat business. Yeah, it's cutthroat. You invoked the tampering word. Khan agreed, though, that Becky is a great star. Just don't get your hopes up. That's never going to happen, ever. And especially when like AEW was offered considerably more than 110 million per year by WBD, which that was after Meltzer came out with the, oh, you need at least 110 million. Now there's reports, oh, they were offered considerably more than that. Who knows? Everybody's speculating. It's all dumb shit. But Tony Khan, though, I have another clip of him talking, I believe. I just lost it. And here, I'll get rid of that one. Actually, speaking of contracts, though, Matt Hardy pipes up and goes, he thinks Jeff Hardy's deal is up in June. And Matt Hardy says, he's been cleared. No, should I do it? I need Marv to do his Matt Hardy, but he's been cleared. He's just sitting at home waiting on the call. Unlike me, he's not someone who really gets out and makes things happen. Okay. He just kind of waits on someone to call him. Yeah, that's called being a star, brother. Not that Matt Hardy isn't, but like that's because Jeff is like mainstream kind of, like people who don't watch wrestling know Jeff Hardy. Everybody knows who the fuck he is. If you don't know the Hardy Boys, you know at least what Jeff Hardy is, right? But yeah, he's got till like mid-June, and then his deal's up. So if he ends up re-signing or not, who knows? What do you guys think, chat? I think Jeff Hardy will show up in TNA, and then I think they'll go to WWE once more in the end. And they got to get inducted in the Hall of Fame, right? It only makes sense because they could get inducted as individuals and as the Hardy Boys together, which I think they would just do the Hardy Boys all as one. Got to hydrate. Hydrate with beer. What? Yeah, man. Shout out Jeff Hardy though. Big fan. I love Jeff Hardy. Always have. Was my favorite wrestler when I was a kid for sure. Yeah, this fight's going down to UFC 302, Copy Law versus Almeida. It's going down, man. But yeah, dude, less money. Contracts are coming up. Just the Jeff Hardy stuff, obviously, the Exodus that we covered on the last show. Tons of as Connor Hassler said, tons of contracts are coming up. People are not going to be renewing them. Matt Hardy's talking straight up like Jeff ain't renewing his shit. So Tony Khan just fumbled the Hardy Boys, which is pretty goddamn hard to do. I have tons of Dave Meltzer, guys. So if you guys start polishing those flutes, if you can't tell, I'm getting to it. I thought I had another goddamn clip of Tony Khan here that I lost. As far as no, that's Tony. That's Dave Meltzer as well. Editing fail, except for we're live, so it's all good. Yeah. So here's Tony Khan right here. I got him right here. He's talking
Bryan
to
Danielson
via Shaq Wrestling, SHAK Wrestling. Shout them out, wrestling, bro. I don't know who they are. And there's a big knockdown on this fight. I'm half distracted. If you guys can't tell, UFC 302, it's the business. Sorry I didn't watch Collision with you guys, but this is a big card. Dustin Poirier is fighting. A lot's going on. It's a good card, man. Anyways, though, so Tony Khan talks to Shaq Wrestling. Shout them out. Bryan Danielson fits on like a glove in AEW. I would bend over backwards for him. Pause, no diddy. And do anything for Bryan Danielson. Pause again. Just kidding, guys. It's Pride Month, dude. You can do whatever you want. And I have no judgment, never have, never will, regardless of a month. But pause for Tony Khan. And he loves Danielson, bro. Tony Khan loves wrestling, dude. He loves it, bro. Anyways, though. Let's hear what he has to say.
And why he loves AEW. And I think Bryan Danielson fits in AEW, fits on AEW like a glove.
Tony's got some. He's trying to fit Danielson like a glove, y'all. What the fuck? Tony's got some. He's like, what did I say before, right? He speaks what's on his mind. This shit's on his mind, dog. That's all I'm saying. Hey, that's all I'm saying.
And as long as he will consider wrestling with us, that door is always open, and I would bend over.
That door is always open. The back door, perhaps, Tony? No judgment. I'm just saying. The door is always open.
Over backwards for him and do.
You would bend over backwards, that forbidden door. Tony, it's the money if you're gonna come out. Dude, he loves Danielson. That's all I'm saying. I think Danielson's a married man, though, Tony. Watch those P's and Q's.
That door is always open, and I would bend over backwards for him and do anything for Bryan Danielson. And why he loves AEW. And I think,
I don't know, dude. Sounds pretty sus to me. No, just kidding. Guys. This show is my favorite thing in the world, dude. Tony Khan talks about on CBS Sports. He talks about the possibility that Dynamite could become 3 hours. Now, I see jokes. People are like, he's pushing for it to be the first ever 4-hour show. I think that's all jokes and in jest. But Tony does want the he does want this to be 3 hours. He wants it to be like Raw, folks. I'm sorry. And if he had the gull, if he embraced the grind, he'd go live 3 hours and try and go head to head with SmackDown or Raw. You know, like try and take one of those shows out. But it ain't about that. It's just about enjoy wrestling. So Tony Khan says, you want to keep Dynamite as strong as possible. You look at the history of what happened with the 2-hour wrestling show when that show was expanded to 3 hours. So just talking about Raw, like, okay, their history is not your history. It's the pro wrestling history, but be different. Try. That's make a shot. Take a shot. I don't know. It's interesting right now. I don't care personally if it's 2 or 3. I don't give a shit with Dynamite at this point. You know, if it was me, I'd just run the 3rd hour live and then just tell more stories and have the longer matches, but then use that extra hour that you normally just like do the matches, all that you want to have that long as you normally do, Tony. But then you have that extra hour of TV, spread it all out and tell stories in that extra hour, you know, because like with the commercials, that's like 40 minutes or what, 48 minutes, depending what. So yeah. But Tony says it's interesting right now per hour. The most we get per hour for any of our TV shows is Dynamite. Yeah, we know, dude. Come on. You don't even need to tell anyone that. No one even knows that you have other shows. Either way, 5-hour weekly programming is the absolute minimum. So in some ways, you would say that would be a very lucrative opportunity. I think it's a very interesting conversation to have about how many nights a week you allocate to programming. Is 5 hours the best? Should we do 6? Well, you never know, Tony, unless you try and you have the money to try and you're just copying WWE. You're like, oh, yeah, the 5 hours works. Why? Because WWE did that forever. This is what we're talking about. Like, you just want to be WWE, and it's glaringly fucking obvious, dude. And then here's Awful, who was on the show. And again, I should have showed him this stuff, but here's him just saying, shut the fuck up about some dude saying, like, don't talk about, why do people talk about the numbers when the owners, blah, blah, blah. But then here's just a compilation of Tony talking all the numbers because that's what they do, folks. That's what they do, folks. That's what they do, folks. Ladies and gents, do you have your flutes polished? Do we have the likes liked up? Is the video liked up? Is the video liked up? Because we're just going to start at the top and we're going to work our way down. And I hope we get flutes in the chat. There better be flutes in the chat. I'm going to stop sharing for 1 second because I'm going to peep the likes because I'm going to bug you guys to get them up. You already know. You already know. We're at 72. There's 123 of you. I saw us get close to I think we're at 150 about one point. Please, sneeze and spanks. Hit that like button. There's 30 of you for sure who haven't hit it. Just hit it real quick. The suspense. Get your flutes. Flutes in the chat. Flutes are warming up. My flute is warming up. Pause. Again, pause. Whoa. Tony Danielson. Backdoors, flutes. Let's go. Because Dave Meltzer, man, he's got a lot. I got a lot for you guys here. Hit that like button, and I want to see flutes in the chat. Like buttons and flutes in the chat. And we're about to get to it, folks. We're going to do the Perry Pack. I always pause before it. We build up to it. I was going to bring it earlier in the night, but we had to get to this great eclectic PWT live show, man. We had to get to, of course, Brandon Thurston. An awful hairline popped in out of the blue. I did not expect him at all, and he was able to, and that was great. And then he disappeared on us like fucking night. You know what I mean, dude? He just disappeared in the night. And I hope everybody's having a great Saturday night. I'm watching the UFC. Hopefully Collision was good. I'm going to definitely watch it later, but I just was like, I need a break. I need a good goddamn break from having that. And I don't know. Usually I'll put off the fights till later, but I'm like, nah, not this time. They have the new UFC gloves. I'm an aesthetic mark. I want to watch every fight. I've been watching the early prelims, daddy. But yeah, man, the chat's lighting up. I already know. You guys already know. Let's light up that Perry Pack. Meltzer is a bottomless well of glorious stupidity. Polishing flutes. Fire up that fucking flute. They're coming. They're coming. Hit those like buttons right there. And I am refreshing it. We're close. We're close. 20 of you hit that like. We'll dive back in. Don't worry. I'll share my screen. And I will hit this Perry pack right here. Sorry, I'm messaging awful over here. And I got my flute polished up. Give me a moment, folks. We're going to hydrate with some beer. What? In Minecraft, of course. I don't encourage anything. Don't ever even listen to me. I'm a stupid dumb fuck, right? As Awful says, I'm redacted. I'm redacted. I'm not smart. I'm just lying. I retract everything, Sean Sapp. I retract everything I've ever said. But we're going to get into Dave here, folks. Thank you for joining me. It's such a blast. It is time for everybody's favorite segment, and it is called Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week. I'm going to learn how to hit those notes, and then I'm going to play that shit live for you guys on one of these shows, and it's going to be hilarious. You're going to love it so much. But Dave Meltzer reports that at one point there was a plan to have Big Bill turn on Ricky Starks and make him a babyface, but that didn't end up happening. So Big Bill was going to be the babyface, not Ricky. That's not happening because Ricky Starks ain't going to be there too much longer. Ethan Page, of course, showed up in NXT, and he is a friend of Cody's as well, man. So, I don't know. Good thing. Thanks, Dave, for stooging this storyline that didn't happen. That was supposed to happen. That didn't end up happening. And shout out Ricky Starks, man. I can't wait till he's in NXT. Good old Meltzer. So shout out at PCAN01044. Pablo Canuck says, quotes Dave Meltzer and says, good old Meltzer. And here's Dave Meltzer saying, the AEW pay-per-view had much better matches than the WWE one this past week. So this is in reference to the King and Queen of the Ring and Double or Nothing. Dave goes on to say, and the WWE talent had it easier because they didn't have to follow Osprey in match 3 and had more of a kids crowd. But you clearly don't actually read to say that. So, because Dave is getting ratioed and clowned on for his dumbass star ratings, which we're going to get into with Eric Bischoff, right? I got a clip of Bischoff talking. We're going to steal his bit. Oh, sorry. Oh, come on now, Eric. But yeah, dude, Dave, he's saying the matches are better. Okay, that's subjective, whatever. But Dave claims his star ratings are the objective reality of truth. And then he's just sitting here like just blowing Osprey to death, like blowing Osprey the way I blow Max Caster or this past NXT, right? And he's just like, they didn't have any match to follow, and they had a kids crowd. You mean the 40,000 people in Saudi Arabia? Like, who the fuck was Double or Nothing in front of like 6,000 people or some shit? Like, what are you talking about? They had it easier. You mean women in Saudi Arabia had it easier after flying on that flight and then having to cover their whole bodies and hide from the public, and they had it easier? You mean those women had it easier in Saudi Arabia, Dave? Are you like,
nope.
Dummy, yeah.
Dave is just nuts. He's nutso, man. So that one was, I don't know. That's just a dummy moment right there. And so here's at Crew Day Podcast. Shout them out, I guess. I'm not familiar. But they tweeted out, for those wondering why Dave Meltzer hates Nia Jax so much, he always scores her matches so low. It's because when he tried to downplay Roman's cancer, Nia tore his ass a new one. So we're going to circle back to that because I just want to show you guys, and we're going to talk about star ratings here. Where is it here? So here's Dave Meltzer's star ratings for the King and Queen of the Ring. Bianca and Jade versus Indy and Candice, he gave 0.75 star, 1 and 0.75 stars. He gave Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan 2.75. He gave Zayn and Gable and Reed 3.75. He gave Nia Jax versus Valkyrie 1.5. He gave Gunther and Orton 4.5 and 4.25, pardon me, and then Rhodes and Logan 4.25, which is like, how do you judge these matches? Like, I just don't get I just don't get it. I don't get whatever. And he claims this is objective truth. No, I've rated matches I don't like better, but he always obscurely rates Nia Jax's matches obscurely low. Like it's just oddly low. Like, dude, they're not that bad, and she's really doing great work, and that finish was great. It was like the biggest pop. There's like videos going on viral, semi-viral, I call it. It's dude, if you get 3,000 views, that's semi-viral if you really boil it down. But either fucking way, there's clips getting like, let's say, tens or 100,000 views where there's people reacting to that squash from Nia, and I put it over huge. Like, we watched it live, PWT live show. Like, Nia's doing great stick work, and she's that finish was great too. And I mean, her matches have been good, and she gave more to Jade. We admit that, but that's Jade, So whatever though, he doesn't think this way. He doesn't think the normal way. His brain's fucked up. He's just trying to blow Osprey. So, but at least he gave these matches a lot, and I think that's Dave though. I think he uses these stars to be like, no, I like Gunther and Orton and Rhodes and Logan because the internet likes that. Like, it's like now he's grading it because he sees that his way, like the way he believed with the Osprey and Omega and all that, it didn't work. And so he sees that. He can't ignore it, right? And so he's like, nah, dude, I'm going to rate these higher because I know the internet will be like, well, at least he gave these higher ratings, but I'm just going to bury Nia in all of this. And we're going to talk more about Dave's star ratings with Eric Bischoff, but I want to just circle back to like a minute ago, as I watched UFC 302, shout out UFC, we talked about this post here. And yeah, so like Nia Jax shat all over Dave when Roman Reigns had cancer, and Dave was like, well, it's not serious leukemia. Like, just the biggest scumbag shit you could ever say. And so this is why this person brought this up. Crew Day podcast, shout them out. And yeah, it just dawned on me. I was like, this is true, man. He does rate her matches obscurely low. Now, she did hurt people in the past, and I get it. Like, I'm not going to sit here and like say Nia Jax the greatest worker of all time or anything. The greatest worker coming from a mark like me. Like, what does that even what does that even mean, right? But it's like, she's not doing moonsaults and shit, and that's what I said on the last show, right? Like, Dave just didn't like it because she didn't do a moonsault. But here's another layer of this. Like, I forgot about this. Here's Dave Meltzer on Roman Reigns' cancer, and this is what Nia responded, obviously Roman's cousin, and Dave giving her a 1.5. Like, to me, she had the best. That was such a great finish in the Nia Lyra match, and I'm not even a big Lyra fan. You guys know, if you listen to PWT, you know I'm not even a big fan of Lyra, but like, this really was, I don't know. So Dave, this is just how out of touch he is. This is what I'm trying to say. He just gets shit in his head, and then he really focuses on it, really like ADD like, and I can respect that. That's why he's so good at like writing, and he cultivated his audience of just writing all the time and everything. That's like me. I'm just sitting here till all the wee hours of the morning pumping out videos and clips and shit. I get it, but it's like, God damn, man, it's just such an out of I just feel like he's old and out of touch, which is what he would project onto Cornette and other people, right? But either way though, this is the Observer. This is Dave right here saying there was an NHL player who had the same thing, meaning cancer, as Roman Reigns had in 2007 season, who didn't miss one game. So because this guy had blood cancer, that he didn't miss one hockey game, that means Roman has blood cancer and he should wrestle every day, Dave. Like, you're a fucking idiot.
Dummy. Yeah.
It's so stupid. And like, shout out that dude who didn't miss a game. That, shout him out. Like, that's insane and good for him. And shout out Joey Diaz, cocksuckers. Just showed up on the UFC 302. Got a big pop. Joey Diaz. He played every game while on this, and hockey is a pretty damn demanding sport. Yeah, we know, Dave. So everyone's different. He actually said the pill was oral chemotherapy, but I don't think it was. So Dave just speculating on what Roman. No, Roman lied, dude. It's not oral chemotherapy. Like, you're just a pig. That's just like weird. Goddamn, dude. Goddamn. I get clowned on. People like Awful will be like, motherfucker, you're being too soft about this. But damn it, I'm a empathetic person, I guess, sympathetic. I don't know what the motherfuck you want to call it, but I feel for. It's like, who cares if this guy was able to tough out? It's different for everyone. Yeah, Dave, cancer's different for everyone. Like, so is the flu. What are we talking about, Dave? So is breaking a leg. It's all different for everyone. Life is different for everyone, dude. But it's like, don't undermine his shit or whatever. Don't even speculate on it. It's just weird and gross. I feel like that's a really weird and gross thing. And that's why I do this segment, guys, because we must remember this stuff. And I forgot about this too. This was like lockdown times. You know what I mean? John JD for $2 says, Dave doing a what about for this situation? What the fuck, dude? Yeah.
Dummy. Yeah.
And it's just, I wish I had one of these,
Nope.
but it said cope instead of nope. If someone could make that sound effect. Now, Donald Trump is at the UFC, and he's getting a standing ovation. He's getting Stone Cold Road Warrior pops. Everyone's exploding. They're all cheering for him. Now, I don't know, man. I don't want to make this the Polita podcast or whatever, but it seems as though that, like, whatever. I'm Canadian, bro. I'm not even going to talk. It's relevant because he's. Thank you so much for the super chat, but he is a WWE Hall of Famer, and dude, Canada has its own problems. But listen, man, this dude, like, it seems as though the American government is very, I'm not getting into this shit. It seems as though people don't want him to be president from an outsider's perspective looking in. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. I can't vote in your shit, so I can't, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying, like, it seems as though people don't want, like, this is like a movie. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying from an outsider looking in. But we're going to move on with the wrestling. But yeah, WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump may go to prison. He won't serve 1 day of jail time. I didn't even know his trial was going on until they're like, the verdict came in or whatever. And to me, I'm just like, whatever. From the surface level, it seems as though, and then Dustin Poirier getting fucking just Road Warrior, Stone Cold, Rocky final boss pops. Dustin Poirier's getting Roman Reigns pops when he comes back to fight off Solo and the GODs. I love this. UFC 302 is going down, folks. So tune in. I'm not paid by them or anything, but I don't know. Endeavor, shout them out, and I'm a WWE Shop affiliate, so grab some WWE Shop gear and use that link below, and you know what I mean. I get a cut of the cake, cocksuckers. Joey Diaz got a huge pop. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, stand-up comedian, actor, whatever, man. Back over to the programs though, and off the Donald Trump stuff, whatever. He's not going to go to jail. He's like a billionaire elite dude. He ain't going nowhere. But either way, and I don't care either way. Like, it doesn't affect me personally, but I don't care who you guys like. But it just seems really like cartoonish looking from the outside looking in. America's shit looks very cartoonish, and it has for a long time. But this especially is like, what's going on? And then he walks in this building. The crowd erupts. Every UFC I watch, the crowd erupts. Now, an isolated anecdotal UFC event isn't representative of everything, but I mean, they hold UFC events everywhere, Middle America, everywhere. And then on top of that, it just seems like there's a lot of people who are coming out and being like, I don't care, like, this is bullshit. You know, like, I used to be like, there's a lot of people who, like, you know, I'm tapped in with that. It just seems like they're just like, I don't know, man, this is bullshit. So whatever, politics aside, this ain't a political show whatsoever. But WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump, I won't go to prison, but was convicted or whatever the fuck happened. I'm not a news guy. I just make fun of Dave Meltzer. So but yeah, so Nia Jax, right? So speculating on cancer. Nia Jax responds to Dave Meltzer and just flat out buries him. Dave Meltzer's a piece of shit. The fact that you make statements about people's health when you have zero knowledge about it is ridiculous. If you do have access to superstars' personal medical info, that is a huge violation of HIPAA, HIPAA, and I'm sure that's not the case. So shut your mouth. Know your role and shut your mouth. She quoted The Rock. So yeah, he's speculating on cancer and all this shit, and she just ripped into him. And then ever since, man, look it up. Dave's always kind of shit on her though. Like, I think even before this, because she hurt some people like before Roman's cancer arose or whatever. So And he did shit on her if you kept an eye on him back then, way before the PWT days. But I don't know, man. I'm just glad she spoke out and buried his dumbass back in the day. And that's why this show's the best, because we dig it up. I'd be searching for all of this because I love it. I get so much laughs out of it. Dave on AEW. And so to bring it back to the television negotiations, and this is in response to what we read earlier in the show. Meltzer said, what responds and says, Dave on the AEW WBD negotiations. And here we have a clip. It's a minute long. I hope you all enjoy this. Guys, and I'm sorry about the political Trump shit. I knew I was going to bring it up. I'll just bring it up in the Dave Meltzer dummy because Donnie and all of these, Byron, what are they called? They're all dummies too. So politics is dummy. It's dummy shit. It's like pro wrestling. But it got to bring it up. I'm sorry I had to do it. Here's Dave Meltzer, though, just talking about the deals, the TV rights, the deals. Is it going to be grouped together? Who knows? But Dave's the one throwing all these numbers around. I've covered it so much, 110 million, 125 million. Well, he's just talking out of his ass, and no matter what happens, it can't live up to the hype and the expectations Dave sets up for AEW, and that's my problem with it. Ultimately, it upsets me as a fan, as somebody who wants to see them grow. Either way, luckily, Awful isn't here to roast me. Here's Dave.
When WWE did not go on WBD, and there were talks, once that did not happen, I thought, okay, the worst case scenario, the most feared scenario for AEW did not happen. And so they're okay. Will they be super profitable? I don't know. There's so many moving parts.
Dave, you said they were going to be, so now you don't know. Oh, I don't know. Tony Khan.
NBA thing, still has to get settled.
The NBA thing needs to get settled. No, Dave, it's settled. It's settled, right? Just because they lose NBA doesn't mean they're going to give AEW more money. That's stupid.
Talks are going on, but the money they're talking about is, it may not be exactly what Tony Khan wants, but I mean, to say, he's disappointed, it's a weird word.
So we covered this on the last show. Yeah, he's not disappointed. He's upset. Disappointed's a weird word. Is it, Dave? How is it a weird word? It's just a word, dude. We all know what it means. I don't know. Me and Awful were riffing on this forever, but this is like cope. This is when people, oh, Phil, you like to use the word cope too much. I know, but this is the definition of it. Like, oh, he wasn't upset. He wasn't disappointed. He was just like, not happy about it. It's like, come on, man. What the fuck are you talking about? Now you're just doing semantical dumb shit. It's like, come on, dude.
I will just say that at the numbers that they started with, I would not be disappointed in those numbers. So I think that they're
so because Dave would not be disappointed in the numbers, Tony Khan, he would say Tony Khan wasn't disappointed, even though by all accord, Tony Khan's disappointed. So
I think they're okay. Are they going to be printing money? That I don't know. But
are they going to print money? Like, he just talks like this spurred out wrestling fan saying weird. Dude, thank you. Trump and Biden are both redacted. You get an air horn. And hey, I'm Canadian. So is Trudeau and the Olivier guy. Okay, it's all just a weird thing that I got, bro. I have zero interest in. I gotta be honest. Like, I feel like it's distraction. Ooh, oh, the black helicopters. I feel like it's distraction. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's like pro wrestling. Joe Rogan, who's on screen right now, UFC 302, topical. It's a distraction. You know what I mean? From whatever. Just live your life, I think, is the main thing. Enjoy what you enjoy. Enjoy wrestling. I agree. Enjoy AEW. I'm gonna roast AEW though, and I'm gonna enjoy doing it. And you gotta enjoy AEW. Don't worry about me roasting it. Don't worry about me cooking Dave. Dave can enjoy reporting his shit. I agree with all that shit. But yeah, it just seems like more like it's like a movie than anything. It's like cartoonish and silly.
We will know that by soon enough. We'll know.
And they are also allowing some contracts to lapse on there, and I saw Mark.
Yes.
Exactly. And so we covered this on the last show, but the reason I wanted this clip for the show is because at the end, at the end, the guy stuffs in there and it got clipped right there, but he goes, and they're also letting contracts lapse, which like no one's really talking about. They're talking about how WWE's fumbling by letting all these contracts lapse. No, dude, AEW's doing the same thing right now. 'Tis the season of that because these rosters are inflated. Wrestling isn't a boom if you just in general, it is. Okay. A large part of that is because of WWE, though. You can go wrestling in general's in a boom. Yes. WWE's in a boom. Absolutely. AEW's on a lull. Yes. All of those things can be true. All of those things can be true. So at the same time, so that's why that clip is important to me too, because it's like, no, both companies are letting all the contracts lapse. It's not just Becky Lynch. We're seeing, as Connor Hassler said on PWT, all these contracts are coming up from AEW and people aren't renewing them. Now, I jumped the gun before Mania and I was talking shit about Dustin and everything. Dustin Rhodes. Yeah, I was a dummy on all that. But hey, you know what I mean? Like, am I far off? It could be sooner than later. I'm sorry. Taker was talking about it and I was just, and I heard and fucking Conrad Thompson was talking about it a little bit and just not naming names, but I knew who he's talking about by proxy. But either way, man, I don't know. That's a good thing to point out. So Meltzer said what? Speaking of Dave's imagination and him just inventing things and stuffing them into whatever he's talking about, Dave is reporting on his own imagination in The Observer. And this is per at Meltzer said what? The GOAT, for a scenario that never occurred and he created in his mind. So Dave says one match was added late to the show with Cargill and Belair defending the women's tag titles against Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. They did a minor angle the night before to set up the match, which was put on the pre-show, notably because they had seemed to give up on pre-show matches as of late. It was just a pre-show match, and everyone pretty much knew who would win, and that it was more enhancement than anything. Dude, he doesn't cover AEW like this. He doesn't go, yeah, this is a predictable dumbass match and nobody knew who would win. Everybody knew who would win and it was just a pre-show, whatever. He doesn't do that whenever it's like AEW or 0 Hour. So stupid. But it did show a double standard because if Tony Khan would have had a match on a Monday where the winning team gets a tag title match and then put a tag title match on the pay-per-view the next weekend with another team that never wins in the change of rule, he'd be excoriated for it. Excoriated for it. It's not even anything. Dave just pwned me right there. Oh, dummy, you don't know the word excoriated for it. It's not. I am dyslexic as well, folks. It's not even anything to really care about as it's a pre-show match. Dave, so then tell me the 0 Hour 6-man trios match ain't nothing to care about because it's a pre-show match. He's never done that. He goes, oh no, 4 stars to the trios Jay White match. Jay White it was phenomenal. Like, and then he goes, oh, well, if Tony did this. No, Dave. Or yeah, no, maybe people would do that, but we've talked exorbitant amount of times on the show. The wick is shorter, the fuse is shorter, right? Tony has such bad faith with his bad booking that he can't get away with a little, let's just stuff this in. WWE can get away with, we're doing a Saudi show, let's stuff a women's match in. They can get away with that a week out because they've been delivering on all fronts. So yes, AEW, no, they don't get away with that shit as of right now. Now, if they give us like 5 years of stellar shit, okay, I'll shut the fuck up. Or like a year of just outstanding storytelling, okay, I'll shut the fuck up. But again, is it a double standard? Sure, that's the nature of human beings in life and everything. Everything's a double standard. Dave talks about Julia Gulia. Shout out Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore and The Wedding Singer. Julia, one of the greatest movies of all time. Julia had a steel plate put in her wrist, and they, at least in Japan, will be Brian will be doing the gimmick. She has more knockout power because of the steel plate. So I guess Dave leaking some Japanese storylines that are coming. It's Julia's got a steel plate. Theo Vaughn on the screen at UFC 302. This is going to be a bitch to clip. But yeah, shout out Julia, and I hope she recovers. Also, Brock Lesnar won't be returning to WWE until he's cleared by WWE legal. Guys, Trump came on the screen again, and the whole fucking place just exploded with I don't know. That's all I'm saying. We're not getting into that. Don't worry. Don't tune out. We're sticking on wrestling. So Brock, though, hey, from Donald Trump to Brock Lesnar, who's also canceled. Will so guys, no, but Dave's saying that he won't until he's cleared by WWE's legal team. He won't be back. No shit, or is it their legal? Does he actually know? I don't know if Dave actually knows. I don't know if Dave actually knows the truth about what he's saying here, but okay, Dave's claiming that. We all know he needs to be cleared, and we all know that they were obviously taking a break, if you will, from Brock Lesnar. Dave reports that WBD is reportedly looking to make a bid for the UFC when its contract with ESPN expires. Good for them. Excuse me. I don't think, to me, UFC, I could see them going to Netflix too, if I got to be perfectly honest with you. If I'm just making a prediction, I'll just throw it out there and go, they're going to go to Netflix too. Good for Dave reporting this, I guess, if this is true. Yeah, I don't really have a thought on this, I guess. So sorry, I just spurred out. I'm also watching the 302 intro to the next fight here, UFC 302. Check it out, guys. Great event so far. Lots of finishes. The latest on AEW's rights negotiations and Tony Khan's alleged disappointment. And this is Dave saying, the only real notes I can say is that from the AEW side, they claim there was not disappointment in the offer on the table at all. But obviously haven't signed it either. So there wasn't disappointment with the initial offer, but they didn't sign the initial offer, huh? The whole argument over the word disappointed is a semantic term. Dave, there's no argument. Guys, what did I say earlier? Hey, he's playing semantics. Now what is he doing? Oh, it's just a semantic term. And then the whole argument over the word disappointment. Dave, there's an argument in your head over the word disappointment. No one's arguing over the word disappointment, dude. Like, you're the one bringing this shit up, and now you're saying it's semantics. Yeah, you're the one saying, literally, dude, this is called projection, folks. I'm pointing it out in real time. Dave's saying, oh, it's just a semantic term. Dave, you're the one saying that. Well, no, he wasn't disappointed. He was just like, not pleased with the, you're the one doing that. So don't come here and tell other people that it's semantics. Like, whoa, we're fucking whoa. Oh man, I'm taking years off. Good thing I got a good head of hair, dude. I might start losing fucking follicles delivering this shit to you guys. You could say disappointed as inherent because they haven't signed, or you could say not disappointed because the first offer was a good starting point for negotiations. Dave. The first starting point was good, but then it got worse, and then now it's not good, and then they're not disappointed, but it's like he stooges himself. He's so dumb. But you still haven't signed it, so it's really just a word. Exactly. It's really just a word, man. Oh, man, it's the word disappointed. It's just like a word. It doesn't based on the number I'm speechless. Based on the number range, we've heard it. And shout out this dude coming out to Final Countdown. Shout out Daniel Bryan and Tony Khan, who's given whoever sings that song more money than anyone on planet Earth. Anyways, based on the number range we've heard, it would be a number I wouldn't call disappointing at all, but obviously whatever the figure they are at is less than they are wanting because no deal has been signed. This is called cope in real time. This is called projection and cope of the highest order, and I'm not talking edge on a big screen. I don't know. Is that a punch? I don't know, guys. I'm trying here. Dave goes on to talk about the WBD deal, and he says the figures being talked about between WBD and AEW are said to be considerably more than the estimated 110. So holy shit! Hold on, guys. Hold on. See, so earlier in the show, fuck. I should have caught this. So I look like the dummy. Earlier in the show, I was like, yeah, it's reported that it was about 110 million. No, it wasn't. They were just quoting Wrestling Observer. Dave's the one saying it was 110 million. So that's the number he fabricated before. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yes. 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 This is so good. So Dave's the one going 110 million, 125 million. We've covered it. You guys, we covered it on the show. You can't miss it. He said it. And then, so this is the report from earlier in the show. And in the segment where it might have been earlier in the show, but it was like, the 110 million, it's more than that. No, that was Observer who said that. That was Dave. So he's just making it up. So it's fake, dude. They weren't. So let's guesstimate and say, let's estimate and say that they got offered like 100 to 110 million per year for Dynamite. No Ring of Honor, no pay-per-view, just what they have now, probably. The same shows. That's me if I had to guess. But Dave's now going, no, they got considerably more. Why? Because that's what your fantasy mark booking, Dave. Oh my God, dude. I love that I just caught this live on the show, live on the air. It's the best thing ever. So there's talk of figures between 50% and above, as much as nearly double the current number said to be already on the table. So Dave's saying, Dave's saying that, hey man, no, they were offered way more than this number that I invented. But not only that, there's talks of between 50% and nearly double the current number said to be on the table, which is considerably more than the 110 million that I invented. Oh my God.
Emotional damage.
This is just word salad, bullshit, nonsense, gaga dummy talk. And let me tell you something. Let me talk to you. Yeah. Man, this is like when Paul Rudd and Ron Burgundy goes like, yeah, and 60% of the time it works 90% of the time or whatever. You guys will quote it in the chat, I'm sure, but he's just throwing shit out there, dude. This is so funny. I didn't even notice this before the show, dude. So it's all just based around his own made up number, and then he's just going, but there is talks from who? Cite who the talks are from. Who from WBD is saying that? Because we're hearing shit like 50 million or like a hundo. So like, I don't know, dude. That's just so funny to me. That's such an epic fail, and I love that so much. So Dave, speaking of like obviously dumb bullshit, dumb shit, well, yeah, obviously this is obvious, and then we'll get into more WWE stuff. But Dave on AEW says they've also been making production cost cutting measures and cutbacks according to people within the company. Well, that's obvious. They try to look like WWE light, but yeah, they use like their regular Dynamite stage for like the pay-per-views. AEW used to at least try and make their sets look unique. They don't even do that anymore. It really sucks, man. It really does suck, but that's obvious. Why are they cutting costs? Why do they have the TV titles on old WWE superstars? Why is their whole show just trying to be based around superstars? Because now Tony's in the wrestling business, bro. And that's what, like, now you're tied up in that. So you have to be a guy who, if there'll never be another Vince. Tony can't replicate Vince. He can't do what Vince ever did. There's no one psycho enough to be Vince. So what Tony has to do is hire other people to take on these multiple roles that Vince did on his own. That it's just that simple, because Tony can't do this all on his own. Drinking some beer or what? Make sure you're hitting that like if you're just tuning in, folks. So speaking of other obvious shit, no. We'll stick with AEW, man. Sorry, guys. I've been drinking a little bit too, watching UFC and Minecraft. So AEW has become more and more reactionary to social media critics compared to examining data. This examining data, again, is anecdotal, bullshit, dumb, goofy, dumb talk that isn't real. I mean, there was also like AEW and Wrestling Observer bots exposed this week as well. I've covered it for months and months and months and months, guys. You already know. I repeat myself too goddamn much, but I have to in case there's anyone new listening. And there is each and every day, because the PWT universe is goated. Yeah. Always got to put you over. But to put myself over, I've been saying it. The bots, all these things that are on Tony's mind, the backdoor, Danielson, hello. What's he thinking about, dude? I'm so sorry. But it's on his mind because he does it. He works for big companies. He knows that people bot, they do it. And it fucks your algorithm. It really does. So yeah, talking about WWE now. So here's Dave's ratings for Double or Nothing. We compared them to the King and Queen of the Ring, but Dave Meltzer, his star ratings was Osprey versus Roderick was 4.5 stars. Actually, let's circle back to this because that's Eric Bischoff's reaction that I want to close with, actually. But because it was great. It was great. But yeah, Donald Trump again. Everyone tune out. No, I'm just kidding. We're done talking about this. I swear to God. So Dave Meltzer talks about the numbers he heard offered by Warner to AEW for a new deal are not disappointing. And I was told he wasn't disappointed at all. But at the same time, was it disappointed? I mean, we played the audio of that. He didn't sign it. So we've covered it ad nauseum. Sorry, guys. I bookmarked a million of them. I told you guys this day was going to be long, man. This is a long segment tonight, man. I told you guys. Dave's thoughts on AEW booking Strickland versus Osprey at the Forbidden Door. So we talked about it earlier in the show, right? And Dave says, I would not have done it this soon. Will is much hotter than Swerve. Is he, though? Is he? Is he? I don't know if that's even true, Dave. I don't know if anyone's hot in AEW right now. Will is a guy who should be champion, but don't feel the need to rush it. I would say the move to make is have Swerve win because Will doesn't have to be undefeated. This is what I think, guys. I don't think this is Dave like being critical of AEW's booking. I think this is him stooging it and laying out the narrative so that when they don't explain it on TV, all of Dave's weird fucking weirdo readers will go, yeah, this is the story, because he's implanting it, right? He's sowing the seeds here by saying, oh yeah, Will's the guy and they don't need to rush it and it'll come later, because that is the right move. But Dave's like putting it over before it happens. You know what I mean? That's what I feel Dave is, because look at what he goes on to talk about, and this goes into my fantasy mark booking about Osprey winning. I was like, if I was them, I'd have Osprey like win everything, like the Owen Hart tournament, the international belt. He win that gauntlet match. He goes on, then he finally takes out Swerve, who's like unstoppable with this crazy big guy heel faction, and Osprey's like the underdog coming, whatever, right? Like, and you just accolade him up. Like, I was saying the same shit. Now look at what Dave's saying. Like, he's bringing up the Owen and all this stuff. So anyways, he goes like, yeah, Will doesn't have to be undefeated. A guy like that can lose a match. Anyone can lose a match in AEW, dude. And so he says, I see Swerve beating him and then Osprey winning and the Owen Hart Cup and then Osprey winning at Wembley. Yeah, that's what I said too. Him losing at Wembley makes no sense. He could win the championship and defend it against the Owen Hart Cup winner, but I think it's better for him to win his first world title at Wembley. It's going to be a lot more memorable than winning it in New York for him and for the UK audience. Yeah, so that's just super obvious. You know what I mean, guys? That's just super obvious. And yeah, I mean, it just sucks because Swerve is now just this over glaringly transitional guy, right? And so Dave talks about TNA. He says there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes in TNA that just started to break. Robert Evans, who is one of the key guys on the creative team, resigned this past week. Other key people have been let go as well. There's nothing on the schedule past these tapings in Tampa, etc. So Dave's going, this is a bad thing. Or they're planning shit literally with WWE, you fucking dumb fuck. And do you notice how Dave never has shit to say?
Dummy, yeah.
Dude, I cover TNA more than Dave does. He never has shit to say about TNA, but now they're doing shit with WWE, and now he's got shit to say about WWE and TNA, pardon me, rather. He's got shit to say about TNA. Now that, like, you guys know what I mean? Are you guys picking up on these patterns? I'm picking up on these patterns with Dave. That's why I do this segment, you guys. It's like he has nothing to say about TNA ever. Like, what did he say about Scott D'Amore? Like, nothing. He had no insight, nothing. Now he's got, there's no tapings and they're actually going under. He's trying to make it doom and gloom. He's just talking shit now because Jordan Gray showed up. Like, it's gross. Dave's a gross. He's a pig. He's a filthy pig. Dave, come on the show. I would love to talk to you. I'd love to Ole Anderson his ass. Anyways, so he goes on to talk about WWE. Speaking of which, the main event of NXT Battleground is expected to be Trick Williams versus Ethan Page for the NXT title. Are you kidding me, Dave?
Dummy, yeah.
Dave, no shit. Like, this is what people pay this guy for. so he can stooge who's going to debut in AEW and then tell them what happened on NXT, because these people don't actually watch NXT because they just hate WWE and the Fed bad. That's what it is, folks. I'm telling you that right now. Oh, it's expected to be. How is this even written in your shit? Expected by who? Expected by everyone who watched the fucking show and who has 2 brain cells in their skull? Dave Meltzer? Goddamn it. Dave. So Dave gives the Nia Lyra match just 1.5 stars. We covered that and Donald Trump earlier. That's such a low point for the show. It's just I just start bumblefucking. So silly. Either way, yeah, we covered that earlier. She just bodied Dave Meltzer for speculating on Roman's blood cancer. Like, that's just gross. But he goes on to talk more about NXT and says he questions the logic about the decision to break up NXT's Josh Briggs. Now, if you guys aren't paying attention, the Josh Briggs, Brooks Jensen, they're sort of, WWE's kind of jacking the NXT. In NXT, Shawn Michaels is sort of jacking the Jack Perry New Japan AEW angle. They sort of are. He's like showing up at indies, holding signs up. He's like the scapegoat kind of guy, right? And these two guys, when I see them all together, I just don't see them. I see this guy working as a solo. I don't see them working as a unit, especially I see him with Fallon Henley, but Fallon Henley stands on her own all the time or like consistently on NXT. And I don't know. I just see them, is that her? That's Fallon Henley, right? Am I wrong? I might be wrong on that. Anyways, though, he says, how many times in WWE have you seen people break up and not one, but both of them flounder? That happens all the time because very often they have this mentality, and maybe it will change without Vince, because Vince was a guy who liked to make changes for the sake of changes. I always think that changes are good when you have something better. Very often there's guys that really are limited. I don't know if Josh Briggs is, but yeah, he's kind of floundered. Fallon Henley is a heel, so it's different, at least, even though I think she's a more natural babyface. Exactly. Boom. So I was right. And I agree with that. Dave Meltzer, smart moment. And Jensen has just disappeared off the face of the earth. I knew it wasn't going to be good for him. Yeah, me neither. I'm okay with them. I think they should break Fallon and this dude off. I do. And I'm sorry for the other guy getting Marty Jannetty, but that's just the circle of life. For $10, my word, thank you so much. Dave has a higher dementia percentage than all 15-year NFL vets put together. Damn, that is harsh, dude. Yeah, I mean, you just paid $10 to Jamie Earhart to just shit. He's like, Jamie Earhart's like, yo, I want to shit on Dave. I got $10. I'm going to put it on the table and go, Phil, let me just shit on Dave right now on PWT Live Show. Pretended. I just appreciate you for it. Round of applause. I don't know. I've covered it to death. He's senile and he's out of touch. And that's why he projected all that shit on Jim Cornette. Any cult members in the chat? A lot of y'all cross over, I know, because I pay attention to my YouTube analytics. Fucking Dave was doing all that projection on Cornette. Oh, he's out of touch. Like, that's Dave. That's Dave who's out of touch. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that so much. So Dave speaks about Ridge Holland, and he buries Ridge Holland, dude. And Dave says, Ridge Holland has no charisma. I cannot believe a guy in WWE has no charisma, because that's all WWE is charisma. Oh my God. So like, hold on. I can't even find the words. All WWE is charisma. Dave, do you mean people being over as charisma? Because yes, everyone's over in WWE. And I can't believe someone in WWE has no charisma. What do you mean? There's been tons who don't, that they still give a shot to. Fucking people said Austin Aries had no charisma, and he fucking went to WWE and was getting over with New Day and shit. People said Daniel Bryan had no charisma. They had a whole WrestleMania around him. So, and I'm not the biggest Ridge Holland fan, but like, just to bury him. and just be like, I'm surprised all WWE is charisma. So no good wrestling. There's no good storytelling. There's no good matches. There's no good characters. Dave, it's just gross at this point. Ladies and gents, I'm getting disgusted. I got to wrap this segment up soon. I'm not kidding. I'm getting grossed out. Rich Holland. Okay, so he goes, he's got a nice body. He can wrestle decently. He's not a standout. Dave, not everyone's supposed to be a standout. Some people have to lose. Not everyone gets a world title. Not everyone gets to be king of the ring. Not everyone gets the Owen Hart tournament because this is great. Fuck. There's a reason Rick Boogs was released, who had a really nice body and could wrestle decently, but Ridge Holland isn't. There's a reason for that, Dave Meltzer, but you're out of touch and you're fucking dumb and senile and you don't understand. You don't understand the difference between a Vince guy and a guy who's not a standout but is a solid hand and someone who's valuable to the roster. God damn it. So, what? You guys already know. Beer break. I'm drinking a Bohemian in Minecraft. Are any of you familiar? Chat, you guys familiar with Bohemian? So Dave Meltzer. And then we're going to go into Eric Bischoff here. Oh, come on, Eric. So Dave Meltzer's full star ratings for AEW Double or Nothing. And this segment's brought to you by... I can't plug their plugs, right? Like if Manscaped's going to pay me, I just said them. So there you go. But if they're going to pay me, I'll plug them, but I don't want to say it if they're not going to anymore. You know what I mean? So Will Osprey versus Roderick Strong. And I'm doing this as Conrad Thompson, I guess. So Will Osprey versus Roderick Strong got 4.75 stars. And oh, come on, Eric. I thought it was close to Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat. I really do. And I know Ric Flair actually is my relative. In his last match, he had a heart attack. The Bang Bang Gang fought the Death Triangle for a 4-star match. Oh, come on, Eric. I thought that was a really good 4-star match. John JID for $2. Man, thank you. And shout out John, man. He's the dude. Now Nia Jax absolutely zero charisma. Why is she there? Yeah, exactly. I was in the middle of my Conrad bit, John, and you had to just give me $2, didn't you, for life insurance? So, Tony Storm versus Serena Deeb, 3.5 stars. Like, this is what I mean. The Death Triangle and Bang Bang Gang, 4 stars. Like, what? No one remembers any of that match. Cassidy versus Trent, 3.75. Jericho versus Hook versus Shibata, 2.25. Moxley versus Takeshita, 4.25. Copeland. And hey, guys, why do you care about Dave Meltzer's stars? Because he claims that they're objective truth. He does. We covered it on the show. He claims they're objective truth, not me. I used to say the same Cope. Oh, it's just his. Oh, come on now, Eric. It's just his subjective opinion. I read the Observer as if it's opinion. No, it's not. It's he says it. No, I've given matches I don't like stars. That's not true. It's just it's the opinion of what the match is. That's what Dave claims. So anyways, Malachi and Edge, where he broke his tibia, 4.25. Mercedes Willow, 4.5. 4.5. The greatest women's match of all time. Willow versus... Like, I like that match. Hairline buried it. I didn't think it was 4.5, though. Like, what happened to giving a 3 a solid match? Like, hey, 3 is a really exceptional match. Right, guys? Like, if someone said judge yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 of, like, looks or something, right? You say 5 is, like, average. So then really be objective about yourself. Like, okay, 6 or 7 is like really good. You know what I mean? If you're like an 8, 9, 10, that's like, well, So if we're going on a scale of 5, what Dave is doing, it's like, so that women's match was like the greatest of all time, like better than we're going to get into it. Don't worry. Cause Eric Bischoff, we're still in 83 weeks of shit here. We cover a lot of the same stuff they cover on that show, and I'm a big fan of that show, so I don't like to step on their shit, and I don't like play a shit ton of Eric on here, or like full-on Conrad Eric bits, but we're gonna this show, because I can't not, it was too on point. I can't even add more than Eric did, go watch 83 Weeks, Wise Choices, great show, named after Tony Khan's meltdowns. But anyways, though, we're covering Dave's star ratings. My brain scrambled. Swerve Strickland versus Christian Cage, 4.25. So this Swerve Christian match was as good as the Moxley Takeshita match was as good as like more or less the bang bang death triangle match. Like that can't be true. You know, like that cannot be true, objectively speaking. Sorry. The Elite versus Anarchy in the Arena, 4.5. That was the worst put together Anarchy in the Arena match of all the Anarchy in the Arenas up till date. That one was the worst Anarchy in the Arena till up, in my opinion, as an AEW fan. That one was the worst, least interesting, shittiest, cheesiest Anarchy of all of them. And Matt Hardy teleported in an ice bucket in one of them. But I'm just being true to my truth. My subjective opinion, pardon me. This one was the worst. Objectively speaking, I think it was bad. But again, you can't. Wrestling is subjective as far as Dave giving it a 4.5. Subjectively to me, that was like the worst Anarchy in the Arena. None of them have even been a 4. Maybe one. I don't think any of them have even been a 4 in my book. So he gave it a 4.5. Okay. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. I can't break it down more than that. We're going to let 83 weeks on 83 weeks. So we're going to head on over to their channel, guys, like full on. Thanks so much, man. Tonight's live show has just been phenomenal, man. And it's because of the PWT universe. You guys in the chat, you guys hate listening, all of that. You're the goats. I just want you all to know that. I love you all so much. Here's Eric Bischoff, though. And he gets like asked about this. So we're going to play this. 83 weeks. We love you. Please don't Don Stevens me. I'm going to try and talk. Why do you pause so much? I have to. Patreon coming soon. Lots of good stuff coming there where it will be more of large chunks, and we're going to watch. I'm not going to stooge everything, but one thing we're going to do, we're going to watch Tough Enough every episode together. Season 1 up until through the NXT Next Gen show on Roku. That I'm going to watch it all with you on Patreon. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be transformative. Don't worry. We're going to pause lots still there too, but I'm just letting you guys know. You know, it's tough, but 83 weeks. Conrad Thompson, if you guys are listening, Eric Bischoff, don't pull me. I just want to play you talking for a while because you're spitting game here. So I might this timestamp here might be a little ahead of what we're getting at, but they discuss the star ratings. Like, and listen, they do way better than I ever could. Like whoever, I think his name's Super Dave or whatever, Super Steve or some shit, who works for Eric here, the producer, he dug up like a myriad of matches with star ratings lower than the ones Dave gave like Mercedes and Willow. You know what I mean? So we're about to listen to this. This shit's hilarious. Now, come on, Eric.
So ridiculously vociferously.
So according to Dave Meltzer, Willow Nightingale versus Mercedes Mone at Double or Nothing was equal to, and then he lists the matches that I'm about to list. But Dave Meltzer ranked their match at Double or Nothing 4.5 stars. Now that's higher than matches from this following list: Randy Savage, Ricky Steamboat, WrestleMania 3, Bret Hart, Davey Boy Smith, SummerSlam 92, Bret Hart.
Like, look at Eric's reactions, dude. Like, this is how, when I was watching this, I was fucking popping. I was like, I can't believe this. I tried to let it play, guys. I'm trying not to, but I don't want to get Don Stevens here. And man, I would love to get Eric Bischoff on this show one day. That's a goal. So let's put that out into the PWT universe. Eric Bischoff one day. Oh, come on now, Eric, and I'll do my Conrad to him and I'll see what he thinks. But dude, just listen to the matches being listed. Chad, I know you're gonna blow up over this. Like, just even think about like Sean. I don't know if he brought it up yet, but like Sean Razor Ramon is one of the greatest matches in the history of just pro wrestling in general. Invented a whole match. If that doesn't get you like an extra half a star for just like the ladder match, like obviously, yes, I know that we could break down the history. Bret Hart brought the ladder match. I'm Canadian, bro. Don't worry. I know all about the Stampede and everything. I've been to it. And Stampede Wrestling and all that. And I grew up, I have old knuckle twisters who were around Stuart's Dungeon back in the day in my family as well. But yeah, dude, it's just like a match like the first ever big ladder match or whatever. Some of these matches just continue. Yeah, like I don't even need to, you guys know, right? And Eric's face tells it all. He's just laughing like, how the fuck do you have the first ever ladder match that gets less stars than, and like what that match was, we still compare every ladder match to that ladder match to this day, right? So anyways, Eric keeps reacting.
Owen Hart, WrestleMania 10. Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon.
Right, so I jumped the gun there. I listened to this before. Actually, I paused the show and timestamped it and went, I'm not listening, but like any further, I'm bringing this to the show. But yeah, dude, like listen to these matches. Owen Hart and Bret. They bring up Davey Boy Smith. Like they just brought up Razor Shawn. It's just ludicrous. It's ludicrous. I'm going to bring it back a bit because I could listen to this all day.
WrestleMania 3. Bret Hart, Davey Boy Smith, SummerSlam 92. Bret Hart, Owen Hart, WrestleMania 10. Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, WrestleMania 10. Shawn Michaels versus Mankind, Mind Games 96.
A sleeper, Mind Games 96, Michaels Mankind, a sleeper match. Wasn't really over with me when I was young either, way back then either. You go back and watch it, you're like, yeah, it's a great match, but at the time, it didn't resonate. Weird he brought it up, but Mick and Shawn, two of the GOATs, you know?
Steve Austin versus Bret Hart, Survivor Series 96.
The fucking Austin and Bret aren't as good as Willow and Mone. What do I say, guys? I don't even know what to say at that point. What do you say? Look at Eric's face. It just encapsulates. It's just laughable.
Steve Austin versus Bret Hart, WrestleMania 13. Rock versus Stone Cold, WrestleMania 17.
Oh my God.
Randy Orton versus Mick Foley, Backlash 2004. Kurt Angle, Olympic gold medalist, versus Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 21.
Dude, Kurt versus Shawn is such a good fucking match, dude. Oh my God. Oh my God. Chat. We better be at 100 likes or I'm going to freak out. We're fucking 15 likes away. Oh, that's so snarling. Just kidding. But hit that like button. There's 135 of you. Please get us to 100 likes, please. Man, this is just laughable. Some of these like we could sit here and do a whole podcast just talking about the matches this guy's listing and marking out over them. I'm sure we could. Just the fact that we couldn't do. Did we even spend 20 minutes talking about Mercedes versus Willow? I don't think so, man. So this is what I mean. And it's not like recency bias, because recency bias is typically people putting things over more than it should be. Not being like, oh, this is shittier because it's more recent. Usually people give recency bias goes the other way. So typically, or that's like what that term refers to, rather, is like it's recent, so you're more biased towards it. So to me, I look back on all those matches that are being named and it's just laughable. Like look at Eric.
Oh, whoa.
Wait, you're going to love this one. Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker, WrestleMania 25.
Okay, now... Yeah, now I'm about, guys, I'm in the stream. No, see, but like you guys, come on, fucking Taker and Shawn at Mania, dude. That was like the greatest match of all time. Oh, this is how you know Dave stars, and which Dave claims are objective truth. He has no basis in reality. There's no reality in what he's saying. There's no like metric. There's no actual. He just goes with what he likes or what he thinks he should say is good. And at the time, he fast forwards through matches. He talks about it. Dave's a fucking idiot, man.
But you're gonna love this one. Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker, WrestleMania 25. Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker, WrestleMania 26. Triple H versus Undertaker, WrestleMania 27. CM Punk versus Undertaker. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair, and the list goes on and on.
Oh my God.
Whatever you say, Dave. This is why no one takes this goof seriously.
I am.
Get him, Uncle E. Get him.
Mr. Silva, aka Super Dave. Have you ever known me to be speechless?
Never.
6 freaking.
This is what I'm saying, man. Do y'all know me? I do 6.5 hour live streams. We've been going 3:30, bro. Do you ever know me to be speechless? I get drunk as shit and I'm not speechless on this live stream. And it's like, when Dave say, I'm just sitting there thinking about the match, like, really, Austin and Bret isn't as good as Willow. And it's not an indictment of Willow and Mercedes. They're tremendous performers. It's an indictment of Dave Meltzer and this weird bubble.
Years we've been working together. Hundreds, 6 years. We probably have 600 hours of content we've done together.
At least.
And I don't think I've ever been speechless.
Well,
I am now.
I believe
that's
Mr.
what I mean.
Meltzer.
I mean, that's Dave is. Well, let's play this. Let's show up this next. This sums it up.
Sum it up for us, Uncle E. Sum it up for us. Hit that like button, chat. Hit that like.
This Dave Meltzer post.
Let's read it before he reads it, and for transformative purposes. I think that if fans on all sides don't hate you, you actually are horribly biased, because the hardcore lunatics on each side are so biased they can't see straight. Dave, you're the hardcore lunatic who's so biased who can't fucking see straight. And Dave's going, if fans on all sides don't hate you, you actually are horribly biased. No, Dave, you're deluded. No, it's not even that you can't be hated. It's not that. I'm hated. Anyone who puts themselves out there are hated. But what it is that it's just that you're the one you're projecting, because you're so horribly biased that you project onto anyone who's critical of you is just so horribly biased. Chat, I know you follow what I'm saying here. He thinks that fans on all sides, they need to hate you or else they're just being biased. No, Dave, it's because fans on all sides hate you because you're biased and you're a fucking idiot.
I think that if fans on all sides don't hate you, you actually are horribly biased, because the hardcore lunatics on each side are so biased they can't see straight. Dave, I think seeing straight is kind of the issue here. I mean, I get it, right? It's your buddies over at AEW. I mean, it's Willow, and she's an emotional favorite, right? We want to see her do well. She's young, she's developing, she's got great charisma. We're kind of cheering for her because, let's face it, she's the underdog. She's in it with Mercedes. I get it. But
so Eric's eloquently putting it. He's spot on here. I've never seen. I'm just gonna play some of these and then we're gonna continue it, guys. I'm just trying not to get pulled down. You know what I mean? I think they're chill. I think if they saw the content, they'd go, yeah, this guy's cool. But I just definitely need to transform it a bit. Eric doesn't know what to do right now. Me neither. You know what I mean? 21 is one of my favorite pay-per-views of all time. The nostalgia, absolutely. That's one of the best runs ever. There was like 17 through like 21, 22. More podcasts have to start making this a part of their weekly segments. The more people expose this. Yeah, I don't want it to go away, Derek, because if it went away tomorrow, do you know what happened? I'd just dig up old Dave shit and make fun of him in hindsight. But yeah, no, that's what PWT is for. I've had other shows reach out to me and go, you guys would be surprised who I've had people reach out to me and go, yo, like bigger shows than mine, and they're like, hey, you've got that you're doing a good job covering Dave. Alfred as well. Like he writes for Forbes, he's like, I love how you cover Dave and just how you like compartmentalize it all and just I don't know. I'm just doing my thing. I'm just having fun, having a little beer in Minecraft, watching UFC and talking with you guys and watching 83 weeks, talking about what I enjoy, pro wrestling, and hanging out with the PWT universe. Yeah. It's a beautiful Saturday evening, and we're going to continue with what Eric has to say.
That match was, at best, not that embarrassing.
It was not that embarrassing. It wasn't that embarrassing. See, him and Hairline feel strongly against it. I don't feel this. I liked the match personally. I thought it was smart how Mercedes was doing the little lucha let me bounce off the rope and work the rope and use my speed and agility and little arm drags and shit, and use like Willow's momentum against her. I thought that was the psychology going into it. Here, let's hear what Eric has to say.
That's it. That's what that match was. It just wasn't that embarrassing. It wasn't bad. Well, no, it was. Technically.
Dude, he's saying it was bad, and then he's going, it wasn't that embarrassing, implying it was embarrassing to some degree.
Speaking, it was sloppy. Willow, lack of experience, not talent or ability or potential, lack of experience, was trying to do things she wasn't capable of doing well yet.
That's because of Mercedes and Tony Khan allowing that to go down there, and nobody going there and saying, okay, this is monster. This is like a monster versus speedster. We're gonna work your leg, or what did Mercedes hurt her leg, right? We're gonna work your leg over. They did a bit of that, but it's like that's really like the focal point and da. No one did any of that. You know what I mean? So I get where Eric's coming from. But at the same token, I give it a bit of, I don't know. Maybe I'm biased. God damn it.
And it came off to be very awkward. Mercedes looked like she was having a match all by herself sometimes, and it looked good. She looked crisp. She had a lot of athleticism. Which clearly is the only thing that appeals to you, Dave, because the match itself was okay. And to see that match and then rate it more favorably, not that your ratings make any sense to me at all anyway, but this is another obvious reason why I feel that way, to suggest that that match was somehow better than that laundry list of classic matches that will go down in history.
Exactly. Like some of those are just based on the build and the story alone. See, Dave puts nothing on, like, if you're over, you can do less shit. Like, I don't know. We talk about it all the time, guys, but Eric's just spitting facts. I don't want to pause it either. But I am, okay?
And no one will remember Mercedes and Willow by this time next week. Just what the fuck, Dave?
Yeah, what the fuck, Dave?
You wonder why there's tribalism. Because you go to such an obvious fucking length to cover AEW's ass because you're so emotionally invested and you want AEW to succeed, not because you just want something else to write about, because if Tony succeeds, then you will have been proven right after all these decades of being proven wrong.
Oh my God. We have to drop that a fucking air horn. Where is it on my... Here we go. He's dropping bombs, dude.
It's your once-in-a-lifetime shot to get it right. And guess what? You won't. And you know it. But being so obvious and transparent is to make statements like that. And then wonder why people are ripping you to shreds. And
yeah, dude. Like, you wonder why I play the flutes and do the dumb moment of the week. You wonder why? It's what Eric's spitting right here, folks. It's what he's spitting right here, folks. This is why I goddamn do it. It's just hilarious, and I love Eric, and I hope one day I could grow up to be like Uncle E. I'm obviously kidding, guys, but it's for real though. Like, it's a guy to aspire to be. There's a lot of people online who try and clown him. Old podcaster. Man, you got a multi-million-dollar home out in fucking Wyoming somewhere where you go and outlook the mountains and the lake, and you just get to, like, that's life, bro. You got a hot-ass wife, and you're just chilling. That's life, bro. You know what I mean? Like, he did it. He did the damn thing. He's best friends Hulk Hogan. None of us can say that. None of these fucking marks can say that. Dave Meltzer wishes his best friend was Hulk Hogan. Do you know what I mean, dude? That's the difference. Guys, we're 5 likes away from 100. You better get us to 100. 5 of you hit like now if you're just tuning in. Here's Eric Bischoff.
At you, and you're all these decades of being proven wrong. It's your once-in-a-lifetime shot to get it right. And guess what? You won't. And you know it. But being so obvious and transparent is to make statements like that. and then wonder why people are ripping you to shreds and laughing at you, and you're losing credibility every time you inhale and exhale. You lose just a little bit more credibility.
Could you guys imagine Eric Bischoff, Uncle Eazy-E on a Dave Meltzer dumb moment of the week? Oh my God. That would be incredible.
Just don't try so hard. Do what you do best, Dave. Cover the history. Tell us who, what, where, when. But stay away from the business analysis. Because you're so fucking wrong. But yet the harder you try to defend, the more people find not only you, but AEW to be a joke. So lay off. You might be giving them a helping hand. You never know. All right, let's do a couple more questions.
I love that, man. Air horns for EB. Eric Bischoff is the man. I absolutely love that so much. And guys, with that was Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week. Guys, I want to thank you all so much for tuning in to tonight's Jesus Christ. I'm watching UFC 302. Nico Price is throwing down. God damn it. I want to thank you all for tuning into tonight's live show. Okay. We've got almost 4 hours. We did a whole bunch here. I appreciate you all so much for tuning in. And yeah, that was an epic, uber, super long. It was like an hour, fucking 40-minute long Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week. I appreciate you all so much for tuning in. I have a PWT podcast coming next week with Marv the Movie Monster. I have one coming with Awful Wrestling where we're going to dive into like more of his motivations and his vocations and what he's trying to do with the book and all of that. Paul Nolan will be guesting soon too. I just have a lot of things in the works. And the Patreon's going to get rolled out at Pro Wrestle Times. If you want the replay, if you missed the live show, the replay will be immediately live. Once this ends, you go over to at Pro Wrestle Times on YouTube, and the replay will be there at Pro Wrestle Times on YouTube. At Pro Wrestle Clips is where you're all watching me right now, so you already know. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. Round of applause for the chat. Round of applause for Awful Wrestling. Round of applause for Hairline. Round of applause for the PWT universe, man. I love you guys so much. I appreciate you all so much. I've been grinding so long. I've been grinding so hard, you guys, okay? Phil Marks, I've been doing the damn thing. And I just appreciate all of your support. Consider becoming a member. If not, that's cool too. Patreon, though, I'm rolling out a bunch of good new content and stuff. And thanks so much. I went longer than I planned tonight, and it's because I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in at Pro Wrestle Times, at Pro Wrestle Clips. I'm Phil Marks. See you in the Upside Down. Peace.
Thank you.